Championship leader Josh Rogers dominated the fast American tracks at the last round.
Well done to Josh Rogers.
The Walkinshaw Andretti United driver grabbed the checkered flag at Sonoma and Laguna Seca, extending his points lead.
And mark another one down for Josh Rogers.
Although it wasn't all one-way traffic.
Oh, and Brady Myers off the road.
With added pressure came critical errors.
Oh, contact. And that was Muggleton hard into the fence.
And some fresh faces rose to the challenge.
Jake Burton picks up his first win, and the first win for Brad Jones Racing and Dunlop.
Tonight, we're headed to Europe for another 3 high-octane encounters. With points at a premium, who will rein in runaway leader Josh Rogers in the Gfinity Supercars Eseries.
2 weeks ago, it was a party in the USA. Tonight, it's a Euro trip. We're also celebrating Retro Round, which is coming up this weekend, and maybe a little bit of a flavour for the Melbourne Cup. Our guest tonight, joining us for the Gfinity Supercars E-Series, Pertec Enduro Cup leader, Shane van Gisbergen. Fantastic to have him here tonight. And the face that stops a nation, Briony Ingerson, is joining me once again. Take it as a compliment.
Surprise.
Take it as a compliment. Nice hat, by the way. We'll get to that shortly. But Shane, let's start with you, shall we? You guys have a runner tonight in the field, to use a horse racing term, Dane Warren. He didn't have a great round in the USA, looking to bounce back tonight.
Yeah, and he's been going pretty good so far, and super competitive series. I race them myself, play a bit of it, and watch the last few races. It's been pretty cool to watch. It's so close.
Now, Briony, please, the hat.
Well, I wanted to incorporate,
the elephant in the room.
As you mentioned, Sandown Retro Round coming up this weekend. So I've incorporated a little bit of Sandown Retro. So this is Peter Brock, 1981.
Has he got a six-pack?
When he won, because he actually was a single driver back in 1981, so that's his trophy. And he's doing a burnout. Kind of like
impressive.
FCG style, which is pretty cool.
You do a good burnout, Shane. How do you rate that one? How do you rate the hat?
Oh, here we go.
I don't remember Brocky ever doing a burnout.
But speaking of retro, I think you've done a fair job, Chad. SVG, you've contributed nothing to retro tonight.
We did it out at Bathurst.
I did find a little bit of retro for each of you. Firstly, Shane, what's going on here? Speaking of retro.
In the red car.
Good wheels.
When was
Looking
that?
pretty dapper.
You're looking all right.
What's the story with that?
I had hair then.
You did indeed.
How old are you there?
Oh, no idea.
Where did you find that? And what have you got planned for me?
Chad, let's have a look at your retro photo. And my question is, who wore it better?
Same hat.
That of course is not Chad. That is your son.
I haven't aged a bit.
Chase.
Yeah, I had a shave.
Isn't he adorable? Who wore it
him
better?
rocking the hat last night. He had the dinosaur pants on.
I think he wins over you. No
he's
offense.
got me
Fastest on the
covered.
field winner goes to Chad Neylon.
All right. Nicely done. So like we mentioned, this is the 4th stop on the tour for us. We've reached the halfway mark. European tracks, and the championship is delicately poised at the moment. Josh Rogers doing a very nice job out on top. That was good. Jake Burton has shot up the order to 3rd with a really good race win recently. Madison Downs sitting there in 4th. The 2 GRM boys mid-pack. Dane Warren, your fella Shane, dropped down the order a little bit at the last round. Brady Myers picked himself up off the canvas to win a couple of spots up the order. So he's doing a nice job, but no one can touch Josh Rogers at the moment, who has been sublime at the moment. And when he drops his best 2 races at the end of tonight, which is part of the championship rules, I mean, he's still going to be well and truly on top.
Absolutely. We're taking a look at some highlights here from his 2 race wins at the previous round, which was races 5 and 7 at Sonoma and Laguna Seca. It was a pretty good battle between himself and his teammate Jared Philsover, picking up 2 wins. That's 3 wins so far this season, 4 podiums, 6 top 5 finishes. So yeah, really, really strong. And check out that burnout. I think you asked him to do a figure 8 burnout, and he actually did it for us, which is very impressive.
Pretty impressive. Do you reckon you could drop the figure 8 skid?
I've never tried or even thought about it. So
you could do a triple 8 skid. Next time you want to race, I think we're going to try and we'll see if we can request.
If you win Sandown and the Pertec
skids.
Enduro Cup, I think a triple 8 skid is more than appropriate. We might have to ask Roland and Mike Dutton.
Yeah, depends how much you have to save the motor. Single 8 for car 8, and that's Jake Burton. He picked up his first race win in the reverse grid race. Did a really nice job. Controlled the race from the pit stops through to the checkered flag, but the rejoins, check this action out, Shane. Reverse grid stuff, and it's pretty exciting. They were everywhere. There you go.
On there.
That was a bit on. No track limits at the exit of turn 1, so everyone was going crazy. He just held his nerve there over Josh Muggleton, and then importantly beat Ian Ford on the rejoin. So pretty close racing.
I've raced there in real life, and that's not a place you want to go side by side up that hill. So that's pretty crazy, brave stuff.
So picked up his first win in Ford, picked up his first podium. Brady Myers picked up his first podium. The reverse grid racing, always good fun.
Super, and it was great to have Brad and Kim Jones watching to see Jake win his first race. They were very happy. I think we tried to convince Brad to give Jake a Super 3 drive because he won.
Yeah.
Don't know how successful we were, but Jake did get some congratulations from one of his teammates.
Yes, he might not be getting a Super 3 drive. We don't know about that. Hopefully he will. But he did get this from series leader Josh Rogers, who sent this to him as a congratulations via Uber Eats. Run us through this meal deal, please, Briony.
I think it's meant to be a cheeseburger, but it's minus the meat, minus the bun, minus the cheese. So it's literally just sauce and a pickle, and then his favourite sundae or shake or whatever it is. But good sense of humour there between them, I think.
How many of those do you reckon you could do before 300 Ks of the Gold Coast?
None. Have one after though, maybe.
Yeah, that'd be pretty messy. So didn't get our Shannon's classic moment. Probably should have that one because it was pretty good banter. But let's go back and figure out who our winning Shannon's classic moment was last week. It was a move on the Red Bull car. Nice move as well. And Ian Ford, we said he deserved $500 for being a new dad. Good news, he's picked himself up $500 for that sweet move on Dane Warren under brakes. And our home viewer winner from the Gong, Brent Gerrits. Congratulations, buddy. You are now $500 the richer. Shane, that was a pretty sweet move.
Yeah, unfortunately on the wrong car, but yeah, he set that up nicely. You could see him feint to the right a bit and pop out at the last minute and pull it up nice, leaving room on exit. Good move.
So the good news is you'll have a chance to win $500 again tonight. Just head to the website at the end of the show. We'll have 3 brand new classic moments from tonight's 3 tracks. Let's check out the very first track of the evening, and it's cool because it's a place that Shane has raced IRL, as Briony would say, in real life. We're checking out Jake Burton's car, looking from high above as we plunge down to the first corner of the Nürburgring. And I'm happy to say it's the short version tonight.
Yeah, I raced here a few years ago and it was an awesome track. And this first bit's really technical before you get into the flowing stuff. But here there's a lot of time that can be gained, especially on this left-hander. If you hook your wheel into the gutter there, it's got a lot of grip. But now you get into the F1 sort of style of track and it'll be tough in a V8 round here.
You have to be very, very patient, I imagine, through a number of these corners. Cool shot of the old roller coaster that stands sort of hauntingly in the background. It operated for a year and then it was never seen again. It just sort of stands there collecting dust. It's a cool venue. The entire track, from the towns that are based around the Nordschleife, the history of this place, you just walk around, you can feel it.
Yeah, and all the castles and everything. It's such a cool place, cool part of the world. And even when I raced here as well, half the track was wet, half the track was dry. Like, it's a crazy place.
Standard for that sort of part of the world, isn't it?
Also hosts one of Europe's biggest concerts.
Yes.
Nürburgring.
Rock am Ring?
Yeah, Rock am Ring, which has been going for a long time. I think this year the acts were Tool,
Go on.
Skyder.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Who?
I'll think of it later.
All right, are you thinking
Slipknot, yes.
Wow. How did I get that out of Skylar? Briony clearly doing music.
Too many Prosecco's.
Yeah, clearly at the Melbourne Cup lunch earlier today. So last sector is probably your best chance to make the move. 6 Slayer, there you
That's
go.
what I was looking for.
Up towards the chicane. Uphill approach, can use the curbs through here. Probably a chance for a slowdown if you get too aggressive on the curbs.
Yeah, I haven't done this track on iRacing for a while, but they can punish you if you get it wrong. I don't know what the limits are, but using that tighter chicane's better for racing, so probably see some late braking moves into there.
There will be, of course, compulsory pit stops for all 3 races. We've wiped a lap off the total distance, so the race times should be about 20 minutes each. And I think we'll see some pretty early pit stops due to the fact that we've moved those race distances around a bit. You did have a crack, though, earlier on the Logitech gear. You had a massive smile on your face. Always a good sign. There you go.
As I was doing a few donuts.
Yeah, you look like you're off in the gravel there.
That's awesome.
How'd you find the Logitech gear and the controls on the wheel?
No, it was good. Good bit of fun. Paddle shift's really nice and stuff. And yeah, it's good to have a few laps and see what the guys are going to go through tonight.
We saw you, there's a great shot of your sneakers. We've had drivers here before on the Sims that have raced barefoot, just in socks.
Yeah.
What's your go-to attire for sim
You try
racing?
and make it as real as possible, so always gloves and proper race boots and stuff, and get it right.
Get the helmet on.
Full nerd.
Helmet, cool suit.
Too hot.
Do you just nerd out at home, just on your own with your race
That's
boots on?
cool. I like that.
I mean, that's great. That's really
The full force feedback deal on the Logitech gear is very good. So fantastic to have the rig here in studio at Gfinity to be able to use. Let's check out qualifying highlights. So we had this earlier tonight, 15-minute session. Surprise, surprise. Look who's on top. It's car 2. It's Josh Rogers. He is your current championship leader. He was pushed all the way, though, by your fellow Dane Warren, and really, really close qualifying order.
Yeah, 100th there, that's pretty close. And all session we saw them trading time, so pretty awesome.
At one point, it was just a thousandth of a second separating first from second. And also Madison Downs come back with another quick car tonight. He sort of bounced back to form recently in the US rounds.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I mean, he had a tremendous opening round and then hasn't really regained that form that we saw in the opening round. So good to see him back up the top of the timesheets and starting off of the second row.
The second row, inside row number 2.
Tonight.
All right, so well done to Josh Rogers. He is your championship leader. He's looking pretty good tonight, Josh. Can you hear us there? Walkinshaw Andretti United Star. You've picked up the pole tonight. Well done.
Yeah, guys, thanks. Obviously, like you said, a really, really close qualifying session there. It ended up being 100th between us, and yeah, we're pretty much the same speed all throughout the session. So with the evolving track conditions heating up throughout the session, it was quite challenging to try and go faster each and every time. But I think at the end of the day, we put in a good solid lap, and looking forward to the race in a few minutes' time.
So, Josh, what, if anything, then do you change setup-wise? As you said, it's heating up and the race is starting in 5 or 10 minutes' time. So what do you change setting-wise, or do you leave it in qualifying spec for the upcoming race?
Often you make just a few minor changes. Obviously, you're putting fuel back in the car, maybe some slight bars and brake bias adjustments, but it's not too dissimilar from the qualifying setup. Obviously, we've got those short races here in this series, so the car doesn't have to last 30 or so laps over a run, so you can set it up a little bit more aggressive in that sense, but obviously with the heating up track, I think it's just going to be more a matter of adjusting the driving style to suit rather than changing the car's balance. All
right, we'll let you get your game face on. Well done, Josh, and another pole award. Looking good tonight. Congratulations there. I liked the banter, by the way, last week, so well done sending the burger meal deal all the way to Jake Burton there in WA. But he's your pole sitter for tonight. We need a quick break. We'll lose the silly hats and we'll get our serious game faces on as well. And on the way out tonight, we're going to learn a little bit more about one of our E-Series stars. It's Ethan Griggault from the Boost Mobile Racing team.
None of my family had any racing background at all. Mum used to watch Formula 1 races back when I was a kid, but that was about it. I've basically found my own way into racing. I remember a very early memory, probably back in 2005, going over to a friend's house and they had Bathurst on the TV, and that was just mesmerising to me. Just the whole atmosphere, the cars, the sound, the G-forces, just everything about it is great. Sim racing requires a huge amount of mental capacity because we don't have the physical aspects of the real cars, but the whole mental aspect is there completely.
Great drive, Ethan Griggault, his second podium of the year.
I'd say my strengths are in my smoothness. That's something I worked on quite a lot, is when you first turn the steering wheel to the apex of the corner, is trying to keep the load off the front tyres and try not to scrub out too much speed as possible while trail braking. The biggest role model has been definitely Jamie Whincup. Just the way he goes about his motor racing and the way he applies himself to the business is second to none. And a lot of my driving style I've actually based off him myself, because the way I learnt to drive is watching onboards. So if you watch onboards from the best and notice what they're actually doing, you can pick out that and try and replicate it yourself. Winning would be absolutely, it'd be crazy, but there's some pretty fierce competitors out there, and there's two of them, Josh and Jared, which I know are the two best in Australia. To try and come out on top of those two is going to take a hell of a lot of work, but me and 40 will give it our best crack we can.
Are you a motoring enthusiast? Shannons are giving you the chance to win a trip to London and the 2020 Goodwood Revival, one of the biggest historic motorsport events in the world. Plus, tour through the English countryside in a Jaguar F-Pace for 15 days, visiting historic locations and unique motoring museums, with up to $5,000 spending money for eligible Shannons Club members. Plus, win a new Indian FTR 1200S motorcycle. To enter, get a quote on your special car, spouse's car, daily drive, your bike or home. Take out a new policy for even more chances of winning. Call Shannons on 13 46 46 or go online today.
So we are set to go racing tonight for the Gfinity Supercars Eseries. It's brought to you by Shannons, and that's how they line up for race 8. It's at the Nürburgring. We are visiting 3 European tracks tonight. First one is that famous old circuit in Germany. We've also got the reverse grid race at Zandvoort in the Netherlands, and then Imola, which replaces Le Mans as the third race tonight, race 10 of round number 4. Really looking forward to this one. And like we mentioned, off the front row tonight, once again, it is the Walkinshaw Andretti United team. I'll be following on Facebook Live a bit later on. We'll be able to throw some questions live to Shane in the studio. But first, we'll throw some questions live to our Melbourne-based pit reporter. Jonathan Simon is watching on down there. As always, Jonathan, what can we expect to see from the first race tonight?
Definitely expect to see the strategy take over because it is a short event. So the early pit stop will be something that drivers will look to more in these one-lap shorter events today. So especially looking at the reverse grid too, whoever finishes last in race 1, you know, let's not count them out for Zandvoort. It's pretty difficult to overtake there. Yeah, Zandvoort really, really difficult to pass. Josh Rogers leading the championship. He's on the pole here. He has to drop 2 races, which at the moment for him is a 4th and a 6th. He can be really aggressive tonight, I think. Yeah, definitely. Put everything on the table, you know, and he's looked quick. Even watching him in qualifying, you know, he set that lap time in the last moments. So to him, the pressure's a little bit on him today because Dane Warren, we remember, has the pace to beat Josh, but he just didn't put it together over a race distance. So let's see how Dane goes in that Red Bull car. Yeah, Dane is a really, really good qualifier. All right, thank you very much to Jonathan watching on iRacing tonight. Shane, you've had plenty of iRacing experience over the years. What's the start of a race like compared to starting a real supercars race? Probably just as nervous as anything. You've put in so much effort to the qualifying, your setup and everything, and especially in a field such as tight as this, you know, it's all about that. Clean air, as Jonathan just said, the strategy means everything in a short race. I remember Richie Stanaway once telling me that some of the most nerve-wracking moments in his life are being on the grid for World Championship iRacing races. Well, I'm curious to know, because obviously in a supercar, you probably have obviously a lot better vision around you. When you're starting an iRacing race, it's just one view, isn't it? You can't see what's behind you. Some people might have the goggles, some people might have 3 screens, I don't know. But yeah, you do have good vision nowadays. Like, it's quite cool. You can look around a bit as well. Yeah, actually, some of the guys are running VR. That's probably one thing that a few of the viewers, particularly the people who are really into their sim racing, would be interested to know. Your setup at home, do you run the 3 screens around, or do you use virtual reality? I just run one, and then I have the VR as well, but I can only do that for 10 minutes, or if I crash, which happens quite a lot, I end up getting sick. So, yeah, I've got to have a fan blowing on my face or have it cold so I can use it. But it's a weird feeling, cool, isn't it? All right, we're on the grid. We're at the Nürburgring, and the red lights are on. Let's go racing with the Gfinity Supercars E-Series. And that is a really good start from Madison down off the second row. Dane Warren in the Red Bull car is going to get swamped down to the first corner. He goes deep under brakes and tags the race leader. Sends him wide. Who's going to get the advantage out of this? It's Jared Filsell. From nowhere, he will lead the race through turn 2, and there's still more going on in the background. And it's one of the Boost Mobile cars around. What a frantic start. Where has all that come from? That's Ethan Green Gold. Yeah, I think you're right. Oh, no. 34 either way. Out of action. Goodness me. Bit on. A huge amount on. I think that all started with Madison down getting a really good start, and Dane Warren on the defensive early, tagged the back of Josh Rogers. That could be our Shannon's classic moment straight off the bat down at turn 1. I don't know who the Craig Baird of this series is, but they've got a lot to do. Craig Gontis, by the way. Yeah, we do have a DSO. He'll be a busy boy. He's watching live in Adelaide, and he's got a job ahead of him, because what we've noticed in race 1, Shane, is typically they like to give points penalties, because if you give them a race time penalty, it actually helps them out for the reverse grid race. So that's a lot to dissect. Well, we saw that first corner. You see how tight it is, and it looked like Dane just locked the rears and
couldn't stay off the back of Josh there.
I think that was Ethan Greengold. He's dropped all the way down to 12th. We're on board now here with Ian Ford, which is the other Boost Mobile entry. Looking at the back of the Rebel Holden Racing Commodore of Dane Warren. Looks like a pretty willing battle for first, second and third at the moment.
The other guy who was the big loser there was Jake Burton in the Dunlop Brad Jones racing car. He was a chance then to maybe take the lead or at least be top 3. And he's ended up 10th as a result. Plus, they'll probably be carrying some damage. So a big talking point early. Somehow Josh Rogers, nothing 6 this kid. He's come out second.
Saved that pretty nice.
Yeah, catch. And now putting pressure on his teammate for the lead. Wow, that was a quick lap. Lap 1 in the books. Plenty to talk about. Short, sharp sprint races, and they are supplying the drama as Rogers lining up a move at turn 1. Here he comes. He can afford to be aggressive tonight, but it's his teammate.
And it looks like a couple of people pitting already. Hampstead, Burton and Madison down.
Yeah, good pickup. So a few drivers coming in early. And I wonder if that's because they may have picked up a knock or two.
I think the Jake and Madison might have, but Hampstead, I think, is just their strategy play.
Gets on clean air early.
So if you're in Josh Rogers' position at this stage, do you pit at the same time as Phil Sol, or do you try and give him an undercut? Do you go in a lap earlier or give him a lap after? What would you do?
Depends if he feels like he's getting held up or not.
Yeah.
Looking at his onboard here, it looks like he's got a pretty aggressive setup. He's sliding around quite a bit, so yeah, he'll be pushing hard early.
Chance for a move. The other thing is he might be able to get it done on the track the way he's looking at the moment. Jonathan Simon tells us the tyres are best for 3 laps, and then after that you really notice a difference. So that pretty much gives you your pit stop window.
Of course, just reminding everyone that you have to make 1 pit stop. You cannot make it on the last lap. You can do any other lap except for the last lap of the race. And even though there are team cars like the Walkinshaw and Andretti United cars, there is no double stacking. So if you want to come in at the same time as your team car, there's no penalty for that. You're actually served an individual pit stop.
Well, that's good.
Wouldn't that be nice in the main game?
Yeah.
Headaches.
Yeah. That would have solved a bit of Fabian at Bathurst.
Amongst other issues. How about at the chicane? Any chance of a move up here? Not quite. He's close. Dane Warren, despite what happened down there at turn 1, is also looking pretty good.
I thought he might have pit there. They're going to follow each other. That's good.
So everyone deciding to go in early. Maybe they're worried about how bad the tyres will be at the end of the race. It's a long way home, 7 laps around here on that 1 set of tyres. The other guy having a pretty good run here, Josh Muggleton, looking for a top 5 finish tonight. They got some white wheels on the Knight Rider car tonight, so a very subtle tweak to how that car looks. Looks pretty cool.
That's a good train of cars actually behind him there. So you've got Ian Ford, Josh Muggleton, Emily Jones and Brent Hodgson all backing a bit of a train up. Backing a train up?
I suppose. You and your
Rating
trains.
train. I'm
you
terrible
can never
at
quite
train
figure that one out, yeah.
No, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, we'll leave the train analogies out of it tonight. Go on board and check out the Logitech data. It's Josh Muggleton with those white wheels. I like that.
Yeah, it looks great.
Hopefully see some white wheels for a retro round this weekend, Shane.
Yeah, that'd be cool. All the promo pictures look good on those cars, but hopefully all the race wheels are, but we'll see.
So Josh has had a tough season so far. He was fancied at the beginning to have a pretty good run. 6th in the very first race there at Phillip Island has been his best result. So it's been a tough one so far for him. Since then, he's only been able to finish 10th as a best result. So if he could park this thing top 5, that'll be a really nice run for him tonight.
You know who else is going to be filthy is Madison Down, because he's now a lap down.
I think he might have retired. He had a huge crash there. Turn 3, he's been in the pits for 3 minutes now.
Okay, so that puts him off the pole for race 2 then. He'll probably try and come back out similar to what we saw in the Sonoma race last time out.
That's an interesting strategy.
Yeah. Try and make sure that you get the pole for race 2 at least if the thing is toast.
Well, Josh got a good run then. I think he's going to be close to having a look.
All right, battle for the lead is on. He's really
right
close,
there.
actually. It's a left-hander. He dives to the inside. Gee, Phil Self's good under brakes. These two have had a few good battles this year. Pit window, and it's definitely open now as the race leader comes in.
Interesting.
So he's going to try and defend the undercut here on his teammate. Dane Warren goes around with him. So the Red Bull car stays out. Now, where will the 22 come out in comparison to those who've already pitted? It's currently the 28 leading that battle pack. And that is Richard Hampstead. So the fight will be on between Hampstead and Phil Self. qualifying.
I'm pretty sure Dane will be wanting to make amends after that pretty awful mistake that he made entering the pit lane at the previous round, which really cost him. DNF has really hurt him in the points. So here we go.
All right, the rejoin's on here. So Hampstead,
Jared's come out ahead.
He'll blaze through a few of them.
Is
that Jared there?
Muggleton
He has, well picked. So Muggleton will pick up quite a few spots here tonight. He's having a really good run. That's on in the background.
That's Brady Myers. Brent Hobson.
Yep. I was checking out the Facebook live stream. Hobson's got his fan base watching on at the moment. So a big shout out to all the Raw fans.
Got the move done there.
Nicely done. He's very aggressive, Brady Myers, in the Fox Sports car. I saw that last week. Not afraid to get the elbows out.
That thing's got no bonnet.
This might have been from the first lap.
Look at this thing.
It's a new aero package.
Oh, it's that parity adjustment for the Ford.
Is that the aero package?
The Falcon has lost the bonnet. We have seen that a few fenders have been missing it.
Well, I thought he was going to come out a lot further ahead, Hampstead, but he's obviously got damage, so that's why he's slowed up.
Longer stop. So Phil Sell's first of those who have pitted so far, I believe. Or is that...
Yeah, he's first car pitted.
So he's looking...
Oh, now everyone's in.
Now the rest will come in at the front of this pack.
So is it a rule you have to take 4 tyres?
Yes.
Oh, yeah?
Yep, have to stop for 4 tyres. It equals about 8 seconds of stationary time.
He's
much
gained
time he's gained there.
braking. Good job.
Really good effort.
You've done that a few times, sometimes successfully, sometimes not
Yeah,
so
sometimes
successfully.
not. Yeah, it was never my fault though.
Other bloke brake too early.
No, they've put actually sensors in now at Supercars, so you can't cheat it. But in this game, I think it's quite sensitive as well. So you get punished if you really go too fast over the line. You can't slow down and get away with it. But
well, that we saw Dane Warren.
Yes.
Previous round went very pear-shaped.
Well, Brady Myers picked up some drive-throughs in the opening round. Here we go.
Close.
So fight for the leaders on. This will be really tight. He got onto that new set of tyres. But Josh Rogers has got it. Now, can he get the switch back down here? The answer is no. He'll be on cold tyres for a few corners here.
Setting them up here on the exit.
A bit of a wiggle from Rogers. These two have done this time and time again.
He's in there.
Has a dive. That's the way. Warm tyres, got the advantage. Good battle, good fight. Well, they rub slightly at the exit, and that might help Dane Warren. So picked up a little bit of damage now. Wow, this is getting really aggressive between the teammates. This is a prime candidate for Shannon's classic moment for the first race, and they are all over each other still.
Be up the inside here for the hip, and it's good driving there by Jared.
Well worked. Finally, he gets this done.
Dane following through? Not quite.
Oh, close.
Just about gets the overlap. That was awesome racing between the teammates. That was the respect shown to give each other plenty of room. Phil Sell hangs on.
You just get the sense that Warren's just biding his time and is waiting to make a move here. He's still hanging right on the back of Josh Rogers there. And looking aggressive too. It's good to see him looking aggressive again.
Yeah, he really needs good results tonight because he will be wanting to drop the 2 races from the USA last time out. That was not the run that he wanted, obviously, when he got the pit wall, like we mentioned. And a 12th and an 8th, he'll be quite happy to drop those 2 results. Gee, they're aggressive over the curbs.
Oh, what's happened here?
Hang on a minute.
Must have a penalty.
Coming back in, he must have got a drive-through. So Josh Rogers, now was he caught speeding down pit lane, I wonder?
Well, it didn't look like it because Dane caught him up quite a lot, so this is interesting.
It's the only explanation to see him dive back into the pits like that.
He doesn't make mistakes often.
No, so a slight chink in the armour, and I imagine this will be the race that he drops. Further back down the order, and there's plenty to look out for. Oh, a bit of a lock-up. Chasing Brady Myers at the moment. Brenton Hobson working his way.
That was interesting. He hooked first gear as he turned in to help turn it. Then he went back to second when he got on the throttle. Interesting technique. Oh, he's done it again. See, he hooked second as he turns up. That's a weird one.
So why would he be doing that? Rotation.
Oh, it beats me. Probably Roy's running out the back.
Expert comments.
I like that.
Expert.
You've taken on a bit of driver coaching lately.
Yeah, maybe you help him out with
You
some
could be an E-Series driver coach.
I drive this car on the iRacing. I'm not that good, so maybe they're doing something I need to learn.
Maybe that's it. Flick it back to first mid-corner.
Probably works. I might try it this weekend.
Could be the prime candidate for that. Turns 2-3 up there, maybe. Get it back into first.
Yeah.
Looking forward to retro round. Penrite Oil Sandown 500. Shane currently leading the Pertec Enduro Cup. Also the Teams Championship alive for you guys.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there, so that's probably our focus at the moment. Scotty's smoked us all. He's done an amazing job in the Drivers' Championship, but yeah, his teammates struggled, had a few results not go his way, so it's opened up the Teams Championship for us, so we're pushing for that.
Remember, we are watching live on Facebook as well. We are live on Twitch, YouTube, all around the various social media sites, and of course Fox Sports, so plenty of ways to watch the action tonight, but I do have the Facebook live stream going tonight, so if you have any questions for Shane live in the studio, we'll be able to maybe fire some his way.
Dane's chipped away at the lead here, he's right on him now.
All right, well, he's got a good cheerleader in Shane van Gisbergen in his corner tonight. Can he?
Yeah, I'm not biased at all, am I?
Yeah.
Every other guest has been super biased towards their own team.
We had
so
Scotty
go
Pye.
ahead.
Scotty Pye round one, and he was
Oh, he would have been pretty adamant. What's going on there?
Really wide line that he takes for turn 2, whips the car back across.
Worked for him, he got a nice exit.
Yeah. Bit of a wiggle here, so this is the fight for the lead. 2 laps to go.
These guys are on the edge, it's good to watch.
They are the best in the country. Some of them, especially in Josh Rogers' case, best in the world. Jared, particularly good at supercars on iRacing.
And Dane has had 3 top 5s so far this series, 2 podiums, but yet to record his first win. So
well, he'd be getting excited now.
Exactly, yeah. 1.5 laps to go.
He needs wins now.
He has.
And once he drops his 2 races from the USA, provided he doesn't have another bad run tonight, he'll be back in this championship.
And Jared's tyres are a lap older, so might make a difference in the end.
Especially as this race goes on for the last couple of corners. Over the top of the hill. Where will he be trying to set him up here?
Well, they're using all the road there. It's good. I think it'll be the next corner, the right onto the back straight, and hopefully get a slipstream up to the chicane there.
Needs a really good exit out of this right-hander if he's going to make that stick.
Quite close enough.
He's come from a long way back, and Jared is really good under brakes, as we've noticed tonight. Sort of your strong point is your braking, and Jared's got something like that going on in the Walkinshaw car tonight.
Yeah, that makes it hard to pass. Even though he might be a little slower in the corners, he's really good into them and out, so making the difference, I think.
1 to go next time by.
That's a good camera angle.
It's cool, is that? Nice and close to the pit entrance wall. Giving Dane shivers every time he gets near the pit entrance walls. Off to Sonoma, he tucks in, not close enough to get a move down at turn 1. So
last lap, have a go.
Weird sort of dogleg down here, so let's see if Jared takes that strange line over to the right.
Yeah, and whether Dane will take advantage and straight line it up to the inside here.
There he goes. He's leaving the door open. Showing the nose a little bit there. I'd like to mention the official Nürburgring track is watching right now from Germany.
That's pretty cool.
On the Facebook live stream. So it's a very good morning, good evening.
Good Tag.
Guten Tag.
Early morning there,
watching. Yeah, it would be right now. We do actually have the real time for the tracks. So
good morning,
for everyone watching at the moment over in the Nürburgring. Happy to say that Shane has been there and raced before.
Oh, Max Verstappen texted me as well. He's watching. He said to say something about Rogers, but that's not a very nice thing to say.
Make sure you're watching the next race, Max. It's at your favourite track at Zandvoort. For the first grid race. The world is watching. How cool is that?
Yeah, you can ask your mate what he thinks about racing in at Zandvoort next year.
Yeah, maybe. He's
Send him a text now. We'll include it later.
His home race is coming up May next year. Half a lap to go. This is cool stuff.
Well, he's got a good run out of there, Dane, but maybe not close enough again.
Will he go the full send at the chicane? Gee, Jared's late under brakes. Down through the S's. He's closer than he was last time. Into the last sector.
It's going to have to be a big send to do it.
He'll have to really commit. Jared will be looking in the mirrors. He's closer than he was last lap. Here we go. Surely. Jared goes defensive. Dane on the outside thinks about it. Can he get the overlap for the last corner? Good driving, Jared Filsell.
Yeah, that was nice defending there. Gave him no option.
And he will be cruising
to a victory off the last corner. Has a small wiggle. He might be vulnerable for a second. No. Hangs on. Good race. 0.3 of a second, maybe less. Ian Ford flies under the radar for his second podium, and Muggleton gets his best result of the year. But it's Jared Filsell who had to brawl and fight and eye gouge and scratch for that one. That was a good fight. And Filsell takes his second win of the year, the first since the reverse grid race at round 1. That was cool. And there you go. How about the drifting?
Good way to celebrate. I like it.
That was cool. Good race.
Yeah, absolutely. But I was looking at the bottom of the pack, and guess who's starting off the front row for the next one?
Yeah, it's
Josh Rogers and Madison Down. Like, if you're going to have an unlucky race, you get to start off the reverse grid race. So
that's an impressive...
it's going to be big guns at the front and big guns at the back.
And it's Zandvoort, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pass. So.
Really difficult track to try and make some moves stick. That was entertaining. The reverse grid race still to come. Remember, that is race 2 tonight, and that is going to be reversed from the finishing order from that first race tonight. Third race of the evening will be Imola. That's a combination of the points. Highlights for you, Shane, from the opening race. Good teammate battle. That's always difficult to manage.
Yeah, that was good to watch. There was a lot going on at the start there. Good save by Josh at the first corner, getting a smack from the Red Bull driver. But, yeah, a lot of action. Be interesting to know what happened to Josh. He had that maybe a penalty.
Surely it must have been a drive-through. Let's relive the highlights. If you just joined us, there was a bit on in the first turn. So watch the Red Bull car closely here. He was on the defensive after a bad start.
Oh, yeah, he's locked the rears there. Straight into him.
Right, and Madison Down, I reckon, picked up damage to the right front as a result there. But you saw him have another moment later in the race. And
just
then bang. Yeah. So he's picked up plenty of damage there. Whack! Into the Dunlop car of Jake Burton. And this will be a pretty good view of exactly what's happened down here. So Burton managed to at least get that thing to the finish line. Madison Down was out of action.
Shane Madison had a great start.
Yeah. Oh, that was the slide from the Dunlop guy. That was Jake Burton, and that was Jared Filsell taking the lead of the race. That's move of the year so far, 5 at one corner.
Yeah.
And it was the move for the lead. He had to fend off his teammate for a few laps, and then the rejoin happened, and it happened all over again.
Yeah, this was a great battle. Good bit of driving from both guys, and you could see Jared doing the switchback almost every corner and then cleanly up the inside when it mattered here.
That was a sweet, sweet move to make it stick after the pit stops. Then we saw Josh Rogers go down pit lane. Still no confirmation exactly what that was. Speculation at the moment, he may have had a drive-through for speeding in pit lane, which we have seen so far this year. So they are enforcing that. Filsell able to cruise to the checkered flag and pick up his second win of the year.
And Walkinshaw Andretti United's 5th.
Yes, good point. So they are looking very good for the team's champ. And there's the celebration. Score that one out of 10.
Yeah, all right.
That's not as good as my Melbourne Cup hat right now. That's for sure.
That's not easy to do, by the way, especially in whether it be real life or whether it be in iRacing. So let's have a chat to Jared right now. He recently celebrated his birthday on the Gold Coast as well. So what a spot to celebrate that. And a race win. Jared, you had to earn that one, mate. Good drive.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Seas parted there.
Yeah.
Turn 1 for me. And, pretty, I'd say plain sailing, but Josh kept me honest there, and so did Dane. I'm unlucky for Josh there. He must have got speeding in pits or something like that.
Yeah, that's certainly what we were thinking as well. We're checking out some of the highlights of that one. Your start was pretty mega. Tell us what happened from your point of view down there at turn 1.
Yeah, I actually went into a private test to grid up from my grid slot so I could work out where I could brake and not overshoot. So I think that came in handy.
You've got Shane van Gisbergen nodding in approval, mate, next to us. That's sneaky.
That's smart.
Yeah.
That's sneaky. That's smart. Well done.
He's like, here's another note for next time I do iRacing.
Sandown 500, private start before break. That's nicely done, mate. Congratulations. Hey, did you have a birthday up on the Gold Coast?
Yep, celebrated my birthday on the Sunday there.
With the team.
Great result for the team as well. Yeah. So, good birthday weekend.
Nice. Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday for the other day. And best luck for the reverse grid race. You get to do it from last now. So that's always the downside to winning race 1. He's going to have a lot of work to do.
When you're first, you're last.
You're first and last in the Gfinity Eseries. Best luck to Jared for that one. We'll let him focus on what's coming up later. We've got a lot to talk about. We'll start with our Shannon's classic moment. And there's a lot to think about from the first race of the night. So I guess we'll have to talk about the race start and then the teammate battle. And for me, it's the teammate battle that really takes the cake off the back of the rejoin between Josh and Jared. And this was a really nice move from Jared Filsell. Ultimately, the winning move of the night.
Yeah, teammate's not worried about swapping paint either.
Yeah, which is pretty really cool. Not an easy place to pass around the Nürburgring, particularly in these cars. How did he make this one stick, Shane?
Yeah, well, it was all the corners were going opposite ways until there was 2 right-handers, and he was in the right place, right time there, crossed them back. Nice inside move at the hairpin.
All right, so that is our very first Shannon's Classic moment of the night. Remember to go online at the end of the night. You'll have 3 to pick from. You could win yourself $500. That's the first Shannon's Classic moment tonight. Keep pushing right along to turn our attention to the second race tonight, which is going to be coming up tonight at Zandvoort. Reverse grid, like we mentioned. Going to be very, very difficult to pass. We'll be lining them up in reverse grid from race 1. So let's quickly just recap how that all finished up for the opening race tonight. And here it is, Jared Filsell by just 0.2 of a second. What other results do we like here, Briony? Ian Ford, second podium. Josh Muggleton.
Josh Muggleton, yeah, I was going to mention him. Emily Jones just missing out on the top 5, a top 5 result. She's had 1 so far this season. Would have loved to have had a second. Brady Myers, I think, has done a very solid job considering he's had such bad luck and has run into some penalties in previous rounds. So a nice solid result for Brady, which is good to see.
Yeah, that's a nice drive. And also well done to Richard Hampstead on picking up his top 5. So it's going to be another impressive night for the Walkinshaw Andretti United team. Remember, reverse grid, and they've got the championship leader coming off the front row. We need a quick break. Zandvoort's next. Briony promises plenty of fun facts. We hope Max Verstappen sticks around. This is round number 4, and we're off to Max's home track, Zandvoort, after this.
Are you a motoring enthusiast? Shannon's are giving you the chance to win a trip to London and the 2020 Goodwood Revival, one of the biggest historic motorsport events in the world. Plus, tour through the English countryside in a Jaguar F-Pace for 15 days, visiting historic locations and unique motoring museums, with up to $5,000 spending money for eligible Shannon's Club members. Plus, win a new Indian FTR 1200S motorcycle. To enter, get a quote on your special car, spouse's car, daily drive, your bike or home. Take out a new policy for even more chances of winning. Call Shannon's on 1346 46 or go online today.
Shannon's are giving you the chance to win this amazing Indian FTR 1200S. Plus, it's also a trip to London to be won to the Goodwood Revival, a true celebration of motorsport. To enter, just go to shannons.com.au and request a quote.
I love sim racing because it's competitive and it gives me a thrill. I've been, on PS1 since I was like 2, so I've been racing for a long time, but professionally I've been in since about 2016. My strengths are I'm consistent, I'm quite precise with my inputs, I try to be very smooth, which is very important for, V8 racing. Current Supercars drivers, I really look up to, Dave Reynolds and Shane van Gisbergen. Dave, just because he's a funny bloke and, he likes to have a laugh, but, gets serious when it counts. I love Shane's sort of adaptability and his ability to go from supercar to GT3 to drift car or anything and be competitive. He's very determined to be the best he can. I find that quite, admirable. My mum and my grandma are my big inspirations. My mum's, she watches all broadcasts and everything. She used to beat me at Coleman Craig Dirt, so yeah, I reckon she'd be all right if you gave her a steer. It's just as much a mental game as it is, on-track battling. You've got to try and place yourself in a certain position to make yourself viable. To beat the likes of Phil Sell, Madison, those guys are battling for wins every week in, our championship. To be able to compete with them and beat them would be a lifelong achievement.
Gfinity Supercars Eseries Round 4 tonight's brought to you by Shannon's, and there was Brady Myers, 7th tonight in the first race. A big fan of yours, Shane.
Yeah, he was making all the aggressive moves as well there. It was good to watch.
He was picked up early in the draft, back before we went racing, and showed great promise. Hasn't quite been able to get the results that he would have wanted. Let's check out our next track tonight. And this is a strange one for a supercar. It's Zandvoort, a really historical circuit that's going to be back on the Formula One calendar for next year. It's about 40 minutes west of Amsterdam, tucked away next to the beach. Really cool track. And a very different spot to go racing tonight. But for the reverse grid race, how do we think this is going to go? Very difficult to pass.
Well, that's what everyone's saying. So maybe that was some strategy by Madison and Josh there to be up the front. But yeah, that'll be more important for the undercuts and trying to stay out longer. Should be interesting, this race.
What did your mate Max say about it? Have you asked him? Well, he's going to be racing here next year, surely.
He drove a Formula One car here recently, I think, from memory. They did a promo day there, and the place was packed.
Really?
His fan base, obviously, back there is just giant.
I'm watching this now. This will be narrow in a Formula One car. It's quite quick. I don't know this track that well. So.
Seriously fast place, very flowing, and has these strange sort of bunkers around the track. Sand traps, which are built like sand dunes, essentially, because it is a really coastal track. Based
you can see the sea in the background there. So.
Sort of like Phillip Island, Dutch version of Phillip Island.
Fast and flowing. Look how tight this is.
Yeah, a bit of a chicane. So that might be a spot where you might be able to make a move stick down there, and also turn 1. Probably be your best chance to try and make a move stick there. 10 laps tonight of Zandvoort, a really cool historic circuit based in the Netherlands. 4.3k Grand Prix circuit tonight, built back in 1948. It used to run Formula One through the 50s and 80s, all the way through. But it's been a 35-year break between Formula One races there.
That's
so
cool.
Going to be really cool to see it back there in May. And tonight we get to see it in the Gfinity Supercars E-Series. And this is how they'll be lining up. Remember, reverse grid race?
What is cool is that we've got some of the championship contenders and some of the really fast guys at the start of the grid and at the back of the grid too. So it's going to be game on. We've got Madison Down and Joshua Rogers starting off of the front row. Jake Burton, who found some trouble in race 8, is starting out of position 3 alongside Brenton Hobson. And then it's Ethan Griggle, Brady Myers. Emily Jones starts from position 7 alongside Richard Hampstead. Then it's Josh Muggleton, Ian Ford. And our race 1 and first and second place, Dane Warren and Jared Phil. So I'm glad I got that
Well done.
right.
Not easy to do.
Really at all.
Yeah. I'll pay it. So we're hearing Josh Rogers didn't get a penalty in that race. He chose to pit for personal reasons. Now,
do you think it was a strategy to start from the front of the
row for the reverse grid race?
This is equal points.
It's
for
equal
each
points,
race.
and you can drop your worst 2 results, but he was on for a second.
Yeah, that seems strange. Well, we might have to get to the bottom of that. We might chat to him, or maybe get Jonathan.
Back on Uber Eats and trying to
we'll get our
put out another burger.
pit reporter Jonathan Simon to see if he can follow that up for us and give us some more insight into that.
Strange one. That's got us beat at the moment.
I'm pretty sure there was 11 other drivers that were pretty happy to see
to see him in the pit
take
twice.
A second pit stop, that's for sure.
All right, we're on the grid. The reverse grid races have been the best of the season so far. It's Madison Down, race winner from the opening race there, and Josh Rogers, your championship leader, alongside him, and he skinned him off the start line. Absolutely picked his pocket. Jake Burton goes with him. He won the reverse grid race.
a couple of weeks out at Watkins Glen. And we'll dive into the first corner. And I think
Jackson again.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty aggressive opening lap, this one. Rogers, Burton down, Hobbs in the top 4. And the roller coaster begins. It's going to be a difficult race, this one, to make some moves stick. So don't be afraid if we see plenty of aggression, maybe from this guy, Brady Myers.
And hello to Mum Myers and Grandma Myers. Credit that they're still up watching it this time. I know how it feels to be up so late.
Typically past Briony's bedtime,
Yes.
anything past 7 p.m. So
Good to have the family support. No, it's really good to see Brady having a really a strong run. As we said, he's been hit by penalties and bad luck in the previous rounds. He hasn't really had a chance to show his true potential yet. So looks like he's making the move here on Brent Hobson.
Nice move. Gets it.
It was nice on exit though. Yeah. Side for the left-hander.
We see that quite a bit in this series. They really don't run each other out of road. They
got the job done there.
Yeah, give each other plenty of room. Looking back from Madison down. Oh, someone off in the background. I think it was Muggleton. Hard to see.
Yeah,
far back. He's gone. And that went head on into the fence. So disaster for Josh Muggleton again in the reverse grid race. Off the back of a really good result in the first race of the night. So that's a struggle town. There's the big sand dune style gravel traps.
And we have had a lot of people ask about safety cars. Now, there actually is no safety cars in iRacing in this series. So even though Josh has gone head on into the wall, there won't be a yellow
You stay green. So first pit stop, and it looked like Emily Jones, who's made her first stop for the night. So that's an aggressive strategy to get out of the traffic, use the clean air. Will that bring anyone else in on this second lap? No spotters as well, Shane. So you've got to be really heads up. No race engineer, no working between teammates. So you are driver, spotter, engineer from the cockpit.
Seat of the pants stuff, I like it.
It's cool.
It's good all feeling if you feel like you're getting held up, you pit, try and get out of the traffic. But as we said, it's hard to pass here, so you really want clean air. And I'm surprised, Dane or Jared didn't pit then to try and get out of that traffic because they didn't make many spots there on the first lap.
Yeah, we saw them do that in the last couple of reverse grid races. The guys at the back pitted really early, get out of the train, go on board with the Raw.
That was Madison up the inside there of Jake Burton, I think. Still side by side.
Yeah, he was having a go.
Fight for second. Burton's got the inside line for turn 2.
Dane, a big move as well.
Having a sniff to the inside of the only Falcon in the field. It's got its bonnet on this time.
Yeah.
I'll go side by side.
I love this onboard shot.
That's
Looking
a
at
good shot.
the rear, it's fantastic. All the onboard shots so realistic.
Nice.
Jeez.
I think.
Side by side through the chicane. Yeah, all the in-car stuff as well. It's half a lap nearly banging doors. Can you get him cleared? Gee, on the outside, Dane Warren. And the third man into this.
Jared in there as well.
Jared will try and pick off one. He's got him.
Look how much time it's burnt up though.
Falling smaller and smaller out the back.
There. Oh, no, he's carried on.
He's going to have a stab down the inside at turn 1.
That was Ian Ford pitting.
So Ford comes in for GRM, who's mobile racing team.
And they're still side by side up the back.
That's still a pretty willing battle, isn't it?
Nearly an entire lap. What a scrap. Ford with Madison down, fighting for second as Rogers clears out 1.7 seconds. How fast is this track? We'll check out the data. A huge amount of runoff either, so you have a pretty bold moment around here.
Quick through there, isn't it?
The original layout when they opened this place in the 40s was typical of European tracks back then. Really wide, barely any corners, flat out sort of fifth gear stuff. And over the years, of course, as they tend to do, they shrink the tracks up a bit, slow them down. This one still has a bit of its old school nature to it.
Is there any Australian track or elements of this track that you could perhaps compare to, or looking at this that remind you of any of our Australian circuits?
No.
Yeah, apart from being in the ocean.
Springs to mind.
Yeah, plenty of sand like Wanneroo, that's about it.
Yeah, it's got a bit of everything, doesn't it?
It's great. I'm really liking it. I think we should campaign for a sport
Supercars.
category bill.
Yeah.
Next year's F1.
Supercars in the Netherlands. That'd be pretty cool. Have you ever any of the tracks in the world that you'd love to race a supercar on? Ever thought about where they might be all right?
Oh, probably Macau. Macau would be an awesome track.
That's
really
a great
suit
shout,
our cars.
actually.
Yeah, Macau would be good, and I think that would be right on edge there. Yeah,
that'd be really cool. Pit stops. Madison down pits from third. He's got sick of looking at the Dunlop boot lid in
front of him for second spot. So that'll be a race between he and Emily Jones, who's the first to have pitted so far. Emily was a little bit further down the pack, so you'd expect the Shannon's car to pop out ahead of her.
But Ethan Rickgold, he was running really well then, but he had a super long stop, so he lost a lot of time there for some reason.
Not sure if he picked up damage beforehand, which may have been a longer stop. Working lap 4. Race number 9 in this championship. All sprint races from here. We did have that one enduro for round 2 at Bathurst because leading to the great race. Still the fight goes on for Hobson and Dane Warren.
Tight through there.
They said you couldn't pass here. Yeah, they have shown us up tonight. This is awesome stuff.
Oh, big move on the inside.
So the way the track sort of naturally sucks you out wide does open up the door there a little bit.
And every corner goes the other way to the last one, basically. So it's hard to get the move done, but looks like he's got around the outside there. So nice move by Dane.
Well done, Dane Warren, moving through the field. And it's another one of these Walkinshaw cars coming in for the fight. This is Jared Philsell. Started off the back with Dane Warren, and they're trying to move their way up through the field, doing it the hard way without the early pit stop. Trying to get this thing stopped.
So here's a fun fact. I knew I had one about Zandvoort. So there is a corner called Tarzanbocht.
Yes.
I assume Bocht is European for corner.
Which one's
European for corner.
You tell me when you see it.
Turn
It's named after a local character whose nickname is Tarzan, and the only way he'd give up his vegetable garden in the dunes so the track could go past is if they named a corner after him.
That is awesome. That is it down there at turn 1.
Right, there you go.
So,
that's where his veggie patch was.
Well done,
R.I.P.
Briony. The fun fact, Tarzan Bocht, turn 1 at Zandvoort, as it's known. And now you know why. I'm not going to even attempt to try and name all the corners of Zandvoort. They're tongue twisters. I'm super curious as to what Formula 1's going to be like here. 22 race calendar that they've got next year.
Yeah.
The more I watch this race, the more I can't wait to see what F1 is like here. It'll be fantastic.
The whole place will just be orange with all of the Max fans.
Yeah, you see the nearby countries at the Austria race, Spa as well, Belgium, like it's all orange. So
imagine what that's like for his home race.
I think it's going to be crazy.
Pretty cool.
Surely you'll get an invite over there, won't you, Shane?
Hey?
You'll get an invite.
Yes.
Max's personal box.
It's the week before Perth, so there you go.
Yeah, plenty of time.
2 sandboxes in a row then.
Exactly. Well done.
The gap between Burton and down here is kind of increased. I don't think their pit stop strategy for either of them really worked in help gaining any advantage there.
Covered each other there, pitting between a lap of each other. So
it's funny how Dane Warren has ended up first car in the queue here, and essentially the race leader after not pitting yet.
Yeah, he's finally got some clear track, so it'll be interesting to see if his pace is any good now.
Who would have thought the way to get the clear track was to stay out? Work the tree. Oh, he's hit the wall again on the pit entrance.
Mate.
Oh, I think he just got away with it.
I think he just did that time.
Oh, no. Man, he's pushing it tonight. Dane Warren, that was really, really close. Just clipped it with the right rear. It is a pretty awkward pit entrance at Zandvoort. Give him that one. And there goes Rogers blazing by once again. And that may cost him a slow pit stop. That's even if you got the thing stopped in time as well to avoid a drive-through. So Rogers back to the lead of the race. Burton second. Madison down, tried the undercut, couldn't get it. He stays third. Myers and Fox Sports car fourth. Dane Warren at the moment in the pits. We'll see where he washes out when he comes out from this stop.
He's come out 5th.
Wow. So he's got away with one there.
Still in front of Jared. They're right behind each other.
So from last row on the grid to 5th. That's not bad. 5th and 6th, okay. And Madison's kind of hanging on to the back of Jake Bird. He's only just over half a second behind. So 4 laps to go. See, is he just hanging on, conserving, waiting for him to make a mistake? Or is he going to just hold back and hopefully consolidate 3rd place? We'll have to see.
Jake's been running good lines, so hasn't made any opportunity for Madison to make a move.
Yeah,
Good racing.
Yeah, Jake will be a little bit filthy, I think, about the way things worked out in race 8 for him, because he was looking strong. He kind of got caught up, I think, in that incident. So he'll be wanting to make amends for that here.
chicane over the curbs. A little bit of a correction mid-corner.
This is Dane we're on board with, I think.
Yes, it is.
Yep. Green gloves sort of throw you a little bit. Dane Warren driving for the Red Bull Holden Racing team. How cool is it to see Supercars teams on the grid for the E-Series? Shows you they are taking it very seriously.
Yeah, definitely, and hopefully it only gets bigger from here. And for a first year, I think the series has been good. Pretty exciting to watch.
You had a chance to meet Dane. Was it Sydney Motorsport Park?
Yeah, he came for a ride with me at Eastern Creek there, and yeah, it was pretty awesome to have him there and get him to see and feel what it was like to be part of our team, and also to feel the real car inside as well.
And then I think you both jumped on a VR racing simulator. You didn't last very long, did you?
No, I got sick straight away, so I left him to that, and I got back in my real one.
Yeah, there are two kind of people who try virtual reality: those who feel sick and those who don't.
That's that one, that sim had all the movement and stuff.
Yeah, right. So really for you.
No good.
I've had a crack on virtual reality full movement sim, and it's amazing. Dick Watkins Glenn just loved it. Thankfully, he didn't feel sick.
Meanwhile, this is a really good battle going on here with Richard Hampstead and Emily Jones down for positions 8 and 9.
The Jones pitted really early, so the tyres will be getting pretty old by now.
He's kept out of trouble though, which is good. She was in a little bit of drama in the previous round, I think.
Yeah, round 4. She had a really bad run. I think it was Laguna Seca in particular.
Yeah, I think it was.
How have we rated her season so far? We had the workplace law crew in the studio for the first round. That was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Yeah, she's well popular, and I can see why. It's great to have a female competing and just having a crack at it. I love it.
She'll be dropping a pair of 12ths at the end of tonight, and that'll jump her back up the order a little bit. Here it is. Tarzan box, turn 1 at Zandvoort. The fight for second is on.
Wait until you hear my Imola fun fact. It's going to change your life. That's what I reckon. So we're looking
at... I've just got another text inbox here from a famous ex-race car driver. His name's Roland Dane. He raced here at Zandvoort in a Ford Fiesta.
There.
Yeah, he raced actually in a few times.
Wow.
In 1983. He reckons the front straight was longer and he had time to do a crossword.
He's awesome.
That's classic.
If anyone else wants to text Shane Snow, all he is. I said I'd be throwing you questions on Facebook, but your inbox is more entertaining.
He's actually on YouTube as well, racing a Honda CRX, Birmingham Supercars or something. He's got some pink piece of junk running out the back, but it's quite funny.
I reckon half our viewership is just tap that into YouTube right now. See Roland Dane in a Fiesta.
Fantastic.
That is cool. Well, the old layout of this place is huge, and the entrance onto the front straight was flat out. He's had some monster shunts here in Formula 1 back in the day, which is ultimately why they had to stop doing it. So it's really cool that they've redeveloped the track and going to go back there once again. And so much history around this place. Never knew Roland Dane raced there, though. How does he go behind the wheel?
He's quite good. Just ask him.
Sometimes you don't even have to ask him. He just volunteers the information over a text.
Well, right now he's got his very own Dane sitting in 5th position. I was quite curious as to how Dane Warren was picked for that driver. It might have just been his first name. The fact that he's a Dane.
All the gaps are pretty stable. There seems to be a second between each car. Everyone's struggling to make some moves here. The gap's all pretty stalemate, isn't it?
Well, the good news is we'll get to ask Josh Rogers at the end of this one, hopefully, why he played that strange strategy card for race 1. We'll be checking in with him on the back of this race.
It's certainly worked for him from the front row. He's pulled 4.5 seconds.
The problem is, though, it'll hamper his grid position for the next race. He'll probably be starting mid-pack.
Yeah, but you can pass at that track, though, so he'll be okay.
So he's thought this out. I love how much they're thinking about things. What Jared said about entering his own private test session to do practice starts, that was huge.
That stuff never crosses my mind.
You know, Jake Burton did 18 hours practice on the Nürburgring this week just to get ready for it, and that's why he was hoping for such a good race result. And then for him, he threw it away. He missed his braking marker at turn 1 as well. So pays to know where that braking marker is for turn 1. Would your speed at entering turn 1 be that different depending on your grid box?
Yeah, for sure. You start halfway down the straight, and then of course if you're grid 1 to grid 6, you know, it is quite a big difference. Yeah, and then you got the concertina effect, which caught Dane out. So yeah, there's a lot to it and a lot you don't think about, but it shows the level of competition these guys are at, the hours of practice they're putting in and how close the times are. It's very, very intense.
Yeah, it's a really cool article about Jake Burton and the amount of test hours he's been putting in up on the Supercars website this week. I know Brad Jones was really excited to see that car get a win. He was watching live, as was Kim Jones last week, and wanted to talk about it up at the Gold Coast.
There's
bit
a
on in
block
the background
going on here.
Yep.
I think that's Brady blocking Dane there, I think.
It's the fight for fourth, and they're side by side at the exit of turn 1. Just Myers hangs on to that one. Here it is.
Dane's been the fastest car on track last few laps, so he's come straight up to the back of him there.
What a drive off the back row for Dane Warren, and somehow got away with that pit entrance. Nearly a total disaster for him, but he has been really aggressive. When you take away his 2 bad results from the USA, back in the championship fight. Not if he does that, though.
Oh, no.
Get it back onto the road.
Just dropped the left rear on the dirt on entry. And
last lap of the race, that was a tight one.
Didn't lose any spots, though.
Yeah, that'll cost
now
him.
he's under pressure from Jared.
Ruined any chance that he had maybe of getting Brady Myers on the last lap. So Myers doing a really nice job here, driving 4th at the moment. Had a pretty good run in the first race too, 7th there, so banking some points. Would have been his best round of the season so far. Here's your race leader. And into the last sector now, Josh Rogers. Strange strategy, yeah, very lonely race for him.
Boring is good when you're out front. Drove well.
Looks the goods, doesn't he? He's going to pick up another race win here. He's got more than anyone else in the championship so far. For Walkinshaw and Briony United Racing, they double up at round 4. Josh Rogers gets one in the bank. And that is his 4th win of the season. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, they're all scrapping all the way to the checkered flag. Great drive from both Dane Warren and Jared Filsell to be 5th and 6th. Particularly Dane Warren, for me, off the back row up to 5th, had to pass a lot of cars. At the track they said it would be hard to pass. If you've gone from 11th to 5th, you've driven well.
And him and Jared will be close on points. They both moved up together, so it'll be interesting to see the grid for the next one.
Good to see another top 5 result for Brady Myers, finishing in 4th. So that's his 2nd top 5 from 9 races so far this season. Having a good run so far in the European leg of the Supercars Gfinity Eseries. Yeah, as you guys mentioned, it's all Josh Rogers out the front.
Walkinshaw and Briony United team are looking the goods, aren't they? So they are looking very strong in this championship so far. Well done to Josh Rogers, picking up another race win. Shane's got all his mates watching tonight. They're all sending him plenty of
it's good racing. Why wouldn't you? Yeah.
So remember to get your questions in. I have had a couple come in, so I better get you 1 or 2 of these. This one's from John. Could any of the main game guys keep up with the fellas we're watching tonight?
Oh, as I said before, the time these guys put in, like they're at the top level, and I do the iRacing for fun. I don't go serious anymore like this because these guys would smoke us. So
there's your answer, John.
It's cool.
They are very, very good. The best in the world, some of them, at what they do. Highlights from race 9 at Zandvoort. Racing by the seaside in the Netherlands. And this one had plenty going on early. There goes Josh Muggleton. Man, that guy just cannot catch a break in this championship. Off the back, we saw some really cool moves with the long right-hander. It gives you a chance to dive to the inside. It's exactly what Dane Warren did. Up 6 spots, 11th to 5th in this one. That's a nice move.
Some good racing.
It's a strange way that corner sort of wheels you out wide and opens up the door. Nearly threw it away though, Shane.
Oh, this was a moment. And somehow he didn't get a penalty there. That must have been right on the edge.
Really, really tight. Josh Rogers, like he said, boring race from his point of view, which is exactly what you want when you're the race leader. And Briony, he is looking seriously good in this championship. 4 race wins now.
Yeah, and 2 straight for Walkinshaw and Briony United so far tonight. So we'll see if they can make it a 3-peat. I'm sure Ryan Walkinshaw, who always is tuning into the telecast, is a very happy man so far with both of his charges taking a race win each.
2 out of 2. So well done to Walkinshaw and Briony United Racing. Let's check in with our race winner from Zandvoort, Josh Rogers. Talk us through that race from your point of view. That was pretty clutch.
Yeah, nice change from that first race. A little bit more of a good result for us. Obviously trying to minimise the loss there, but off the start it looked like Mad got a little bit of maybe bogged off the start. So I managed to take the lead there, and from then on it was just a matter of trying to hold off Burton for a couple of corners until I felt little bit more comfortable. And then from there on, I was just trying to hit the apexes nice and clean, set up good exits, and obviously take care of those tyres in the hot conditions we had here.
So, Josh, can you clarify what actually happened in that first race? Why did you take 2 pit stops?
Yeah, so unfortunately, it was just a speeding on pit exit out of box. Misjudged the release of the pit limiter just a tiny little bit, and obviously, you know, especially at a track like that, the pit lane's quite long, so it was a large penalty for that one. But nonetheless, good recovery drive here, and hopefully we can be off a solid position for Imola.
I guess that's a personal issue, sort of. You take it personally when you got a penalty.
We said you had a personal issue from the commentary box point of view. We weren't quite sure what to call that one.
Finger trouble, I think.
Finger trouble.
Yeah.
You had a trigger finger going on there. You're right. That'll be one of the races you drop, I guess.
Yeah, I'd say that was my worst race of the season so far. So at least we'll be able to drop that one, and then I think the next one's 6th or something. Yep. So we'll try and have a good, solid result in the next one, get through it clean, and score some.
All right, you'll be starting, I think, mid-pack for this one. We'll let you get back to it. Thanks for clearing that one up, Josh Rogers. Ready to go for the final race of the night. That's going to be Imola, by the way. That's going to be really, really exciting. Let's turn our attention now to our Shannon's classic moment of the night for race number 9 of the championship. We saw plenty of cool moves throughout this race, and one guy who had to pass a lot of guys because he started down the back was Dane Warren, and he was driving this thing beautifully. One move in particular that we like, Shane.
Yeah, all clean moves and well set up and thought out. And this one was a tough one, took him a couple of laps, but pulled it off there racing with Brenton.
So the way the track sort of moves over to the left-hand side, suckers the left-hand side car out of the screen, and that was enough for the Red Bull Holden Racing Team driver to move on through. So if that's your classic moment of the night, remember you can win $500 just by going to the website. We've still got one more classic moment to pick from Imola. Was that your Shannon's classic moment for tonight? So let's unwind the results from race number 9 of the championship, and that was a really exciting one. Jake Burton was running in the front pack there for a while, managed to hold off Madison down for 3rd position. Another good strong drive for Brady Myers. The 2 best drivers of the race, 5th and 6th. That was a nice drive off the back of the grid. Poor Josh Muggleton is not getting much of a run at the moment, and also Ian Ford.
Getting the wars there.
Yeah, who was
Josh.
Pushed a little bit further back. So
scratching those nice white wheels that he's got.
Yeah.
In this car. I'm sure he doesn't care about that at all.
Well, maybe. You never know. We'll have to ask him if we get a chance to chat to him later. We need another quick break here. We've got plenty more to come. We've got the final race of the night coming from Imola. Stick around. This is the Gfinity Supercars E-Series, brought to you by Shannon's.
Are you a motoring enthusiast? Shannons are giving you the chance to win a trip to London and the 2020 Goodwood Revival, one of the biggest historic motorsport events in the world. Plus, tour through the English countryside in a Jaguar F-Pace for 15 days, visiting historic locations and unique motoring museums, with up to $5,000 spending money for eligible Shannons Club members. Plus, win a new Indian FTR 1200S motorcycle. To enter, get a quote on your special car, spouse's car, daily drive, your bike or home. Take out a new policy for even more chances of winning. Call Shannons on 13 46 46 or go online today.
Always a party on the Gold Coast. That was the Vodafone Gold Coast 600 on the weekend, including world-class DJs as well as huge parties going on all night.
Yeah.
And a huge party for you, Shane, because you guys cleaned up.
Oh, it was an awesome weekend for us. Like, racing on the Gold Coast is always cool, but when you come away with surfboards like that, it makes it even better.
That would have been one of the best weekends for your team, and especially your time at that team in a very long time, maybe ever.
No, Sandown
like
last year,
Sandown
1, 2, 3 last year was epic, but certainly the way this year's gone, it was really cool to dominate like that and show a good performance.
There were a number of huge moments to talk about, Briony. Obviously, you referenced it earlier in the night, Shane. Scotty McLaughlin had huge crash at qualifying. Nasty stuff to see. Went sliding along on the left-hand side. Doesn't get any better when you look at it from that angle.
It's still hard to watch.
Yeah, that's a nasty one. He bounced out. Thankfully, okay, was taken to hospital for some precautionary checkups. But the images of the weekend, Shane.
And a hero comes along.
Coming along to save the day. What was running through your head when you came through the chicane?
Well, I seen the car on its side, and I didn't know which one of the two it was, but I saw how far it was from the corner, and I thought, man, that's a big shunt. And when I stopped, there was no one there, so stopped. But by the time I got there, all the fireys were there, and they did their thing and helped Scotty out, and he was pretty shaken, but it was pretty cool. And then I went to have a look what springs were in it, but I couldn't see they were up on the balcony.
Left, wasn't there? One was up on the balcony. Well, not all heroes wear capes.
Just kidding. I didn't think about that stuff, but it was cool to see him get out. And Chaz and him had two of the biggest crashes you'll ever see on that track, and they walked away relatively fine. So it was great to see that.
We know it's a really tough, dangerous circuit, but I think it's not until you see a really big crash like that because you kind of almost take it for granted when you're going so close to the walls, and we see it in the slow-mos and the replays, and you kind of take it a little bit for granted. Then you see when it goes wrong, and you're just like, whoa, okay, yep. Well, there is some serious speed going on here, and it's high risk.
The risk versus reward here is probably up there, maybe even higher than Bathurst. You push your car to the limit here, and the time just comes. You can really, even if your car's not quite there, you can rag it and get the extra time out of it. So
there he is again.
And after all the talk between the two teams and what happened at Bathurst, it was a really nice moment to just see the mates win out at the end of the day like that.
I would have done it for any car in the field. Seeing a car crash like that, and how bad that was, and in qualifying as well, that they're pushing like crazy. So I'd do that for anyone, and you'd hope they'd do the same for you. If I arrived there, it was under red flag. There's nothing dangerous about stopping, so you'd hope that happens to anyone. Call
it karma, call it good fortune, call it whatever you want, but you cleaned up that day as well off the back of that, and was really strong race result for you and Garth Tander. Good to see Garth get back to the top step of the podium too. Yeah, he had a good little start here with Craig. They were side by side. Craig was amazing off the line all weekend, but
I just love seeing a Lowndes Tander race start again. That was pretty awesome.
And they're good at it, aren't they?
Yeah.
Seeing them off the front row next to each other as well in particular, and then leading home the 1-2 finish. And this!
What is this?
I don't know,
that's
but
one of the best
cool.
things I've seen in a long time. It's like, are you a new dance troupe now, or what's going on? You're going to be competing in Australia's Got Talent or something
well,
next.
There's no way I'm doing a shoey, so that's a way better thing to do.
I like that. Is that tradition now, or are you going to have to think of something fresh?
I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
We were going to try it in the office today to open the champagne at the Melbourne Cup party, but no one was prepared to go through with it.
In terms of the championship picture, obviously Scott McLaughlin's got a pretty sizable lead as we check out the Imola backdrop for our Virgin Australia Supercars Championship. But to be running second this year is a huge effort.
Yeah, thanks. It's been a tough one. You know, you can see all the Fords there pretty much are in the top 10. They were really strong at the start of the year, and I feel like it's gotten a lot closer now. The parity may be even right, but certainly Scotty's a level above us. He's driving really good.
I've got to ask before we switch our attention to Sandown. Nathaniel is asking us on Facebook, did you see the fella up on the podium with us? He was actually a guest from Virgin. He went out to hand out the trophy. He just got stuck out there.
Yeah, he jumped on our podium. He was meant to give it to Shippy, and he jumped up there with us. And he said, am I meant to be here? I said, I probably shouldn't have encouraged him. I said, you're all right, mate. You're looking good. And he stayed there.
Should have given him a champagne bottle.
Second co-driver.
What a legend. No one had a better time on the Gold Coast than that guy. So
I would say he wouldn't forget it, but I think he probably did it the next day. I think he was pretty smashed.
That was really cool. Good on him. From there, obviously, the party started on the Gold Coast without going into too much detail about what we saw on the after parties, but did you have fun at least? Did you get to celebrate that one?
It hurt the next morning.
Okay.
And that's all part of it. And certainly, it's one of the coolest races we do. And next year being a night race, man, it's going to be awesome.
Let's pick through some more of the questions that we got on Facebook. So if you've got a question for Shane van Gisbergen and you're watching on Facebook, now is the chance to hit us up right now. Who would win in a sim race? This is from Mish, between you and GT. Now, you guys had a chance to do that here, didn't you? You guys had a race here at Gfinity before, I think.
Yeah, he's so old he doesn't even know how to use a computer.
Hey!
I smoked him.
Come on now.
You
He'd be good at Frogger. That'd be his era.
Pong?
Wouldn't it?
Maybe.
Pong. Sorry, Garth.
So there you go. That's the first ad. So I'm going to try and pick through as many of these as we can. So fill him in right now. Are you looking forward to the weekend? Retro round. You guys usually run pretty good at Sandown, obviously.
Yeah, it's a cool track. But obviously this year it's going to be a bit different. I think it's going to be really tight competition. And I think probably the Nissan will be fast, surprisingly,
really?
because with all the downforce stuff, they've got quick down the straight. So that's what Sandown's all about. It'd be interesting to see if they spring a surprise.
Andre Heimgartner and Bryce Ford are driving really, really well at the moment.
Especially Bryce. He's been the real surprise looking at all the co-driver stats.
Yeah.
He's matched his main driver pretty well.
You've had plenty of chances to race Scotty McLaughlin. We just saw you two are pretty good mates. Have you had much of a chance to race him on the sim? That one's coming online.
There was something on your Instagram, wasn't there?
Yeah, we raced a few times this week. I finally started beating him, which was good. But yeah, he was good. It took him a few days to recover, obviously, for the weekend, but he's good now and good to go for next week.
All right, we'll keep things moving along. We are not too far away from going racing. We're going to be going to Imola for the final race of the night. We're going to wind back the clock, though, and take you to Tassie and a weekend where Shane also had another pretty strong race result.
3 rows, 2 rows, 1 row.
Race 8 gets underway. Beautiful start by Van Gisbergen. Look at Frosty in the mix here.
That's about right. Standard.
What's the big hit? No left front, but 6 to right.
You have 9 laps of tyre on Scotty and permission to pass him when you get to it. Frosty. Let car 12 go. Let car 12 go.
But now, or?
Yes, mate, once he gets to your bumper, watch for fabs. Watch for fabs.
Good driving, mate. Eyes forward now. You got 5 lap minute tyres and fabs.
This one, traffic's a joke. Understood, we need blue flag for car 3. Blue flag for car 3.
And that front right corner is damaged. So, just a bit wounded.
Copy, mate.
Right, mate, Quick Jump does have better advantage tyre. Just keep it up.
No point defending him, mate. You just go past him in the straight, so I think a long game here.
Keep your eyes ahead for LeBron. We have better tyres, and last lap you were a lot quicker than him.
Sorry about that negative attitude. It's just demoralising, mate. Sorry.
Okay, folks. You think you've got 5 laps of tyre on us. Just play safe. Play safe, please. Mate, it's that front right tyre is destroyed. Good killing it. Just lost all turn, mate, all turn.
Was it bad from the start of the stick, mate, or did you damage the tyre?
Well, it wasn't great, but damaged the tyre. Mate, that tyre, has to get it off.
That is a beautiful pass. That's a very nice execution.
Good drive, mate. Really good work. 41 to go. Long way. Keep pushing on in this stick.
Coming in the garage. So, just getting in the way of everybody's race.
51.7 for cool time last lap. What I know is lap every lap now. If somebody's now watching the last corner and let me know if people start running off, that's where the rain is. That's where it'll get wet first. I've got no gear shifter, mate. The gear shift's not working yet. Gear shifter, the gear levers come off. I've got no gear lever. If they're stuck in one gear, I can't change gears. I've got to come in, I can't change gears. I'm comfortable. I just need to know in case the track suddenly wet at turn 6. Otherwise, I'm cruising. Got me nuttos on the wall watching it.
And he will put together his first victory of the 2019 season in Tasmania.
Yes, yes, yes. Awesome drive, brother. Great recovery this weekend after our AGP disaster. Love your efforts. Thank you, mate. That's so cool, guys. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Let's keep this momentum going. Makes up for a average Albert Park. You guys are legends.
Shane, I give you a 10 for the win and a 1 for the parking. Nice work parking that thing in Victory Lane.
Yeah, I was allowed a bed then too before RD told me to cut it. So.
Isn't your thing you always got to hit the marker, but you don't want to push it over? But
No, that
the
was
thing
a
is
bit
you've got to
hard.
just
That was-
touch it, right?
Mistimed that one slightly.
Yeah.
That was a good weekend. It feels like ages ago, but that was a huge win in terms of the championship and turning that momentum around from the strong start for the Mustangs.
Yeah, well, that was crazy. That sort of, I hate going on about Parity, but that highlighted the issues. They were fast down the corners. In the corners, we were fast down the straight. So it took a while to even that out. And now I think we're better in the corners and slower down the straight. So I think it's better.
We're going to get a few more of these questions going, Briony, while we get a chance. I've been following along on Facebook, so hit us up right now. Mick wants to know, how do you reckon Josh Rogers would go, our championship leader, in an actual supercar? So driving one in real life. Is there anything that he'd be able to take from iRacing to do it for real?
No idea. I don't know what his experience is like, but how good he is on here, someone should probably give him a go and see.
He's raced go-karts. Didn't he do quite well in go-karts?
Yeah, has a big go-kart background. I know Madison Downs raced Aussie racing cars. Jake Burton's had a stint in the 86s, past Garth Tander, as we've mentioned a few times. Hemi.
It's his claim to fame,
Yes, his claim to fame, past Garth Tander, turn 1 at Phillip Island. Will you be doing the 24 Hours of Daytona on iRacing ever again? That's a big commitment.
Oh, yeah, probably. I want to do the real one first. I haven't done that for 2 years or so. And, man, it's an awesome race to do on the sim and real life. The sim was good practice for the real one.
Were you and Josh Muggleton teammates for some of the Enduros that you've done? Or it was not Josh Muggleton, sorry, it was...
Jared? A few years ago.
And Justin Rugia as well? Have you
raced with Justin. Yeah, he's doing the development series.
Yes.
Awesome dude. And
we had him for round 2 in here.
Oh, yeah.
Did a really good job.
He's racing this weekend at Sandown too.
All right, we'll take a few more offline right now. We've got Troy wants to know, how do you rate Sandown, just as a circuit compared to the others on the calendar? Certainly very historic.
It reminds me of Pukekohe, where I grew up racing. Track around a horse track, fast straights, some fast corners, and some tight technical ones. So it's a cool track. Gone well there the last couple of years. And the way it is with the braking, it makes good racing. So, yeah, do enjoy it.
Big warm welcome to Scott Pye, who's just joined the coverage, watching right now.
What's the silly question?
Scotty, I want Scotty to rate, how does he
comment.
think SVG's going as a guest host? Because Scotty was
Scotty
awesome
did pretty good.
first round, and he enjoyed being here. So I want to know if Scott
So
thinks,
Scotty, hit us in the comment. Okay, here you go.
Rate your mate.
Question from Scott Pye. Shane, what
Here
front
we go.
spring are you running at Sandown? Don't ask him.
Yeah, I don't know. Coil.
A lot of people asking about the retro paint job. You guys sort of played that hand early.
Yeah, we did it at Bathurst, and I think it was quite fitting. It's cool rendition of the old HRT car. So it was really cool to have that and be a privilege driving that car.
Absolutely.
Scott also says you drink like a girl. I think he saw something at the after party at the Gold Coast.
I don't know.
That
Girls,
I didn't.
That could be a compliment or an insult.
Depends
I
if you
don't
drink
know.
with her on Melbourne Cup Day or not. Bradley also wants to know, will you want to partner Garth Tander again next year? You guys have been pretty good, and you haven't had much continuity over the years.
Yeah, he signed up for 2 years, so it worked out really well. Obviously, initially it was a shock. He was still good enough to be full-time driver for a few years to come, but certainly a benefit for me. And having that, I think I had 5 different guys in 5 years. So
I don't know. Now that Roland's had some laps at Zandvoort, you might want to get him on board. And
you might do a John O'Webb.
Yeah, pull rank, and this is my car I'm driving.
I'm going to qualify it, see how it goes.
You used to drive, obviously, with John O at that team at Techno. That was a pretty big call, wasn't it, to just say, I'll have a drive, thanks.
Yeah, it's a shame to see that team ending. end of an era, but you know, it hasn't been the same for a while. It was an awesome team when I was there, great people, you know, run by Steve Hallam and Bruce Jenkins also. I enjoyed that time, but yeah, shadow of its former self, unfortunately.
But it's going to be reinvigorated as the new Sydney team next year's Team Sydney.
Yeah, I don't know much about it or how it's going to work. But.
Yeah, they'll be involved in that, definitely. And a new announcement coming up with a few driver announcements actually coming up on Supercars Trackside on Thursday on Fox Sports 5:06. Make sure you tune into that from 4:30 Eastern Daylight Time.
You've done very well there. What's the gossip?
Well, you've got to have to wait and tune in to Supercars Trackside, Shane. 4:30.
Keep it locked on from now all the way through. Andrew wants to know, have you achieved everything you wanted to achieve in V8 so far?
In V8s, yeah. I just wanted to be here and make a good career out of it. That was my goal. My dream was to be a supercar driver. So.
What about Bathurst? Is that not on your big item bucket list?
Oh, it is, but it's not end of the world, you know. I've done it 12 or 13 times and every year had a different story and loved it.
But you haven't won.
Yeah, it doesn't worry me. I've had some awesome races there and...
She does this with our guests. They offer their time to be here on a Tuesday night. She smashes them up.
Oh, no, I'm not smashing you up. It's a fact. You've not won Bathurst.
Yeah, I've not won it. Neither have you. But
No, but I haven't had any goes at it, mate. You've had 12 from 0.
Yeah, I'd love to.
It interests me that it's not something, because a lot, you know, most Australian drivers, well, we're supercar drivers. It's, you know, one of those
things. Well, I'm not Australian, so there you go.
Okay, but Scotty McLaughlin has said, you know, he's won a championship, and when he wins Bathurst, or if that's when he would look at moving overseas. So I'm just curious, Shane. I'm not having.
Brings me to my next question. Stephen wants to know, do you want to do any more overseas racing?
Yeah, that's what I want to do more of next year, and obviously love to get back to Asia and unfinished business there. We've got so much potential there this year, so hopefully better next year. But Le Mans on my list, love to do that, and then love to get back to America again. The American racing's just so fun. They got the right attitude, you know. They just love racing. No frills, just enjoy it. So I want to get back there.
Stuart says, why are you so good at racing in the rain?
I don't know. I used to...
What's the secret he wants to know, since the next one might be wet again?
I used to have a crappy little ute. I drove to school every day and it rains almost every day in New Zealand. So, not that I do skids on the street, so don't do that. But, it probably taught me how to drive.
All right, nicely done. Thank you, everyone, for firing us through the questions here. That was a lot of fun. Well done, Shane. He's playing them one after the other, Briony throwing in the real hard ones. Like we mentioned, Retro Round is coming up. We all can't wait to get there. It's going to be a really, really big weekend.
McLaughlin's misfortune and Red Bull's return to form.
This is a game changer.
Has turned the team's title fight on its head.
Hopefully we can just keep chipping away.
They're a big chance to win the team's championship.
The final round of the Pertec Enduro Cup. Every practice, qualifying and no ad breaks during racing. Sandown is Retro Round, live on Fox Sports.
As you can tell by Dave Reynolds and Simona Di Silvestro, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's Retro Round. Everyone likes to buy into some of the throwbacks and some of the old throwback liveries that have been coming through already.
Look fantastic.
Brad Jones Racing stuff looks really, really cool.
I think there's about 10 or 11 out of the 25 car field.
That's, really, really cool. All right, speaking of throwback places, Imola. Haven't seen too much big racing there in a long, long time. Let's go for a lap and first just explore this amazing historic venue. Tamburello's not quite what it used to be, obviously, with the new chicane that's been added there over the years. Really difficult to get that right still. And Shane, this would just be about on any race car driver's bucket list, this track.
Yeah, as you say, some of the major corners, you know, the historic parts of this track are gone, but those chicanes do make good passing zones. Long straights into tight corners, open ones like this hairpin. I think there'll be some good racing here, but certainly not the track it used to be.
No. When it was originally built back throughout the early 50s, it was pretty much a street circuit back then because it ran from town to town. It's got a little bit of undulation in it. It still runs World Superbikes and some other pretty cool stuff. And this is where it gets really fun, is you plunge downhill and you go into the Acqua Minerale.
And you can see all the houses on the right there. And I think into the last corner as well, I remember seeing the Superbikes race. There's just houses everywhere. So it's pretty cool to be right in the middle of all that. I think through this corner as well, there's some massive curbs, so it should look pretty cool through here.
Yeah, should be able to bounce up on 2 wheels like we saw at Monza. Here we go, hit him hard. Oh, 4 wheels, airborne. They might be watching out for track limits on the exit there as well, so need to be careful of that. So we might see some slowdowns through the chicane if you get it wrong. And this is the part that you're talking about here as you go down towards the Ravazza. Check the houses out.
Tough braking zone as well, downhill. Little kink in it. So
you can hang on those balconies for race weekend. Formula 1 cars are whipping around. That would have been really cool.
Yeah.
Then back into the Varianti Bassa. Now, we do have the straight version there, which Shane picked up on earlier in the night. So no more chicane there like it used to be. So it's a really fast entrance onto the front straight. Running on the Grand Prix circuit, one of the coolest circuits in the world, runs just under 5 kilometres. And we've gridded them up. Combination of points for the night. And Jared Filsell is having a night out. He and Dane Warren will be off the front row, Briony, and looking to finish what's been a really good, strong run for them so far.
Yeah, and then some big hitters behind them. Josh Rogers and Jake Burton off row 2, followed by Brady Myers and Ian Forden. Row 3, row 4, Richard Hampstead and Madison Down. Then Josh Muggleton, Emily Jones. And off at the back row, it's the Boost Mobile entry, Ethan Grigalt, and the Raw entry of Brenton Hobson.
All right, so that's how they're going to line up for the last race of the night. Again, 10 laps. It will have compulsory pit stops. We'll see how the strategy all works out as well. We've got Jonathan Simon watching on. It's been a really busy night, races 1 and 2. And Jonathan, plenty going on in race 2. What was the latest gossip there?
Yeah, penalty for Hobson, who re-entered the racetrack after his pit stop. And it was quite a tough penalty because it was 3 wide. And I think he collided, of course, with Richard Hampstead. So the stewards, of course, behind the scenes gave him a 5-second penalty, cost him a few points. And for that race 3 pole that you were discussing between Filsell and Warren, they were actually tied on points. So it was Filsell who won out on the tiebreaker. Remember, he did win race 1 today from the Nürburgring.
All right, nice work. So how is this all going to play out? Track temp, it's late afternoon, so track temperature should be pretty big for this one as well, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Cloudy skies too, so it's going to be pretty quick conditions. Only 28 degrees Celsius track temp, but again, it's a 10-lap race, so you know it's really tough to call strategy on this one. I think we're just going to have to react to see what these drivers do in the opening few laps.
All right, thank you very much, Jonathan. Now, Briony Ingerson has been promising me a fun fact about Imola all night. I've waited
This is going to change your
4
life,
hours
Chad.
for this.
It's going to change your life.
So
This is the funnest, most useless fact. But you will now associate with Imola every time. So you know how you do this?
Oh, no. Yes, you pop your ears, yep.
Okay. Well, did you know that the person that came up with that was a researcher of the anatomy of ears? It's called the Valsalva maneuver because Antonia Maria Valsalva was born in Imola. And so she actually invented that. So next time you do that, to clear your sinuses, you think of Imola. And I bet that you will for the rest of your life and you'll hate me for it.
I waited 3 hours for that.
Was that not
useless fact I heard today? Let's go racing.
Let's go racing. Couldn't have said it better, Shane. Let's go racing at Imola.
Wow, shut down.
And we are off and running for the final race of the night. So let's do this. And the run is down to Tamburello, and that is a really nice start for Jared Filsell's got that car moving, and Josh Rogers out of nowhere is fighting for second, and he's going to get it done on the outside through Tamburello. Not quite. Dane Warren prevails, runs him out of road nicely. Jake Burton slots into 4. Haven't seen the best of Jake yet tonight after disappointment in round 1. He bounced back at Zandvoort. But what's he got here tonight for the final race? Race 10 of the championship at Imola. Fight is on here.
Rogers looking up the inside there at the hairpin.
Yeah, at the toe, so he might make this stick. Gives him plenty of room again.
Good drive out. Got the line for the next left as well.
Ooh, nice, cleared him. Keep the overlap. So Dane Warren with a really nice amount of traction out of Tosa hairpin. Plunged down the hill for the first time. And that's important to get that Red Bull Holden Racing Team car between the teammates at the start of this one. Section changed over the years. They used to have a much sharper hairpin, much sharper chicane down the bottom of the hill for Formula 1. Open it up. Here's a good passing spot under brakes. Rogers has a big look. Oh, had to pull out of that move.
Oh. Dane took a lot of curve there, but it killed him on the exit. I think he's going to lose the spot.
And with a really good drive, he draws level. This will be tied down at Ravazza. If he can hang on the outside, he'll have the inside for the 2 left-handers, and he gets him cleared. Nice move. Nearly, not quite. Shane's egging him on from the commentary box, but that is the move officially made. Walkinshaw Andretti United 1-2. Been a big week for Ryan Walkinshaw. He actually competed in his own esports tournament this week. Wasn't car-based.
Did pretty well, I think, too.
It's pretty handy.
Closet gamer.
Yeah, loves his gaming. I love how many of the drivers in our field have been gamers the whole life, from PS1 all the way through. Some of them early days Nintendo. So really cool stuff. I love it. iRacing is taking it to the extreme. Further back, there's plenty to look at back in the pack as well. This is the fight for 8th. Muggleton Jones. Ethan Grigalt is had an off night. He's been really quick so far this year.
Madison Down snuck into the pits well. We didn't see there as well, trying to get out of the traffic.
It's an early pit stop for the man who was leading the championship after the opening round.
He was buried in the pack, so obviously trying to get some clean track there.
Aggressive move then to get out of the traffic across the top of the circuit. Piratella, the top of the hill. One of the cool things about this series is you get to sort of daydream a little bit. What would it be like to see Supercars running? So the fight for second is back on here. And here comes Jake Burton now. Sticks his nose into this one. This is at the chicane. Make it stick. Down the hill at Ravazza, there might be a chance here once again. So Rogers, who was the aggressor, now very much on the defensive. Pouring the pressure on. This will give Jared Filsell a chance to clear out.
I'll tell you, Brady Myers is sticking to the back of this battle pack too. He hasn't lost any ground to them. So could he be on for, one of his best results so far this season? Let's hope so.
Anyone going to take an early pit stop? Yes, a few more come in.
A couple there, Josh Muggleton and Ethan Griggold. Dane's got a good run here. Closing right up to the back.
Dane's not giving up on this fight for second, is he?
Maybe Josh went aggressive with his tyres because he had so much grip on the first lap. Now he's sliding around quite a lot and holding these guys up by the looks.
Tyre pressures really do matter in this game as well. Where you set them. 1 second the gap, so they've actually been able to close in a tiny bit here on Filsell. Despite the fact that they were slower than him last lap. Famous circuit for Formula One, all the way up to the turn of the millennium. Ran both the Italian Grand Prix and the San Marino Grand Prix. Even though the track technically isn't in San Marino, it's in Bologna, in Italy.
Yeah.
Still, exactly. Still runs. That's what always comes to mind when I think of Bologna. Does run the World Touring Car Championship there for a while, and World Superbikes have always been a pretty mainstay of this track. Be a wicked truck and a motorcycle around here. Very, very fast. Always has been. Plenty of big curbs.
And they're using them, aren't they?
Yep.
Oh.
Love how realistic this game is, the way the cars lurch over the curbs. We saw plenty of that on the Gold Coast. It's pretty realistic. Love that sound too when you flick up the dust and the rocks. So much attention to detail. Hope you're enjoying the action wherever you're watching from around the world. We've had plenty of viewers tonight. Great vibe going on online. Thanks for all the questions on Facebook. More pit stops. Oh, man, that was tight. Did he get that thing stopped? He's already had one tonight, Josh Rogers, for speeding in pit lane, although that was pit exit the last time he got pinged. And it's a long pit lane, this one. Looking at 38 seconds with the pit stop.
How much of a crossword do you think Roland Dane could complete during a pit stop?
A cryptic one,
so
probably.
Three ups and three downs and 2 acrosses? Or?
He would have finished it by now. Just ask him.
He strikes me as a guy who'd be very handy at crosswords, just quietly. Back to the drivers who have pitted so far.
It's worked for Madison. He's jumped those guys there, I think. So that early stop has gained him a couple of spots.
Must have some pretty good car speed as well, because it would have been a huge undercut there, other than clean air. Where are they going to come out? They're going to be flying by the time they reach these guys at pit exit. But I think the guys coming out of the pits have got them cleared. Fighters on here between Muggleton and Griggold. Griggold on the outside at Tamburello. That'd be brave. Has to pull out of it. So Down will hang on to that spot ahead of these two. There's a river that runs just on the other side of the trees there, which is why they've never been able to open up all the runoff at Tamburello. That's why they added the chicane instead of adding more runoff. Famous part of the world down there.
Get rid of a veggie garden, but you can't get rid of a river.
No.
It's a little bit more difficult.
It's a reference to Zandvoort if you've just tuned in.
Yeah, it's not a random reference. Yes. Zandvoort.
Turn 1 at Zandvoort.
Yep.
That was a good fun fact. I'll give you points for that one. Be sure to tune in next week for our British tracks. Briony has got a whole week to come up with some ripping fun facts for 3 of the coolest tracks: Silverstone, Alton Park, and Brands Hatch.
Oh, my good mate Lewis Hamilton will probably text me and give me
drop a line.
Yeah.
I'll let you know what he says.
The curves at the chicane, the Knight Rider team.
It's not a bad looking car there, does it?
Cool,
With wheels.
Need more white wheels. We're going to run a campaign. Bring back the white wheels.
Reminds me actually of the Kostecki brothers livery for some reason. I don't know why.
Does a
Got a little bit of that.
And Jared's pitted as well this lap to cover those guys trying to undercut him. So hopefully he comes out in front. We'll see.
So the fight will be on for the lead of this race right now.
There's a few of them leaving the lane there.
And this will be really close. Down at Tamburello.
Got him.
Got him. So they can't. Wow, that was a big move. Must have had a really slow couple of laps.
No, his stop was a second and a half slower for some reason.
Right. All picked up, Shane. There you go. And as a result, that is the change for the lead. How is Rogers going to double up here? Well, he hasn't got the job done yet. He's still got Dane Warren to contend
I've
with.
got a feeling this could be Dane's night, or this race. It's looking really racy, wanting to grab his first win in the Gfinity Supercars Eseries. We're up to race 10.
And Brady's jumped Jake as well there. He's looking good too.
Dane really needed a big night tonight, and he has delivered here with potential for a couple of podiums and a great result in the reverse grid race too. So shaking off what happened to him at the USA. 2 more rounds to go, like we said, the English tracks, and then we finish it up with a run of the Aussie tracks to cap off the year. Oran Park included in that one, which is cool. Shane
You made your Supercars debut at Oran Park.
Yeah, that was a cool
10
track.
years ago.
Shame it's not around anymore.
Was it Team Kiwi?
Team Kiwi, yeah.
Very young Shane van Gisbergen rocking up and impressing on debut. A very wet weekend as well, I think, from memory.
Yeah, the second and third race were really wet. I think that was Lee Holdsworth's first win.
There you go, Oran Park. So that'll be us for round 6 of the championship, and Bathurst, of course. Going to throw in Bathurst and Phillip Island for good measure.
Dane's good off that last corner there. Maybe he can slipstream up for turn 1. It's a good run every lap.
Josh not attempting to break that slipstream, so he'll be able to try and real close up before Tamburello. Halfway home. 5 to go. It's close, but not close enough. Going to see plenty more action in the background. These guys running nearly 3 wide further back. The fight is on. And that was Hobson hopping in behind Muggleton, and Greg Gould have been having at it and now off. Gee, Muggleton is getting served every race, it feels like, at the moment.
Is that contact?
Yeah, between him and Ethan. And again, he drops to the back of the pack. Man, he'll be reaching for the quit button tonight once again. Can't take much of a trick tonight, or at any night so far, Josh Muggleton. Running in there with Brenton Hobson in the raw entry. That car looking cool. And Brenton picking up a good race result for race 8, which was the first race of the night. Going to continue that form for the 3 English tracks next week. So a 1-week layoff next time. We're straight back into it off the back of Sandown. And then we wrap it up the week of Newcastle.
Sure do. Can't wait. Emily Jones, obviously number 1 on the totem, but she has yet to pitch. She's the only driver out of the field that has yet to take that compulsory pit stop. But this is the battle, isn't it? This is going to be great. The battle between Dane Warren and Josh Rogers. And I'm kind of on Team Red Bull. Only right now, only for the next 4 laps.
Good, because you weren't in question time, so I'm glad you come around. But certainly, following him for 3 races, he'll be frustrated. He's had the shot there, so hopefully he can make a pass.
It's close this time. He's really close. He's got a bit of a run in the slipstream too. He might not even need to do it at the first corner. He's got just pure speed. He pulls to the outside. This for the lead.
We lock the rears a bit.
Oh, that is tight. Really tight. Good racing. Championship leader prevails. Rogers will be dropping his 12th place, which was the first race of the night. Going to finish off in style with a pair of wins.
Well, what's happened here is it's also allowed Jared Filsell to close on in. So not only now is he attacking Josh Rogers, but he's got to keep an eye on the review mirror too to make sure he can at least hang on to second. And when you are iRacing, Shane, how much can you look in the revision mirrors? How much can you see, or is it negligible?
Yeah, like the real thing, you can see, you can set up the side mirrors, I think, as well. And yeah, you certainly got a good idea of what's going on around you.
So Dane will be very well aware that he is the meat in a Walkinshaw Andretti United sandwich.
Yeah.
Sound that delicious?
And Jared, looks like his tyres have come up. Took him a couple of laps there, but putting the pressure on now. which is a shame because when Dane was looking forward just before, he was really charging hard.
He's aggressive, is he, Dane Warren? He had a crack earlier at Zandvoort, couldn't quite make that one stick. We saw at Bathurst, he wasn't afraid to try pull moves on the outside of people there, which is
That's
always
right.
cool.
Turn 2 there it was, wasn't it?
Tried the Jamie move from 2013. Past the houses and the grandstands. Next time by 3 to go. On board with Jared Filsell. Now he has a chance to get the big toe down the front straight. Really close. It looks like he's gaining. Now he's got plenty of momentum. Warren goes defensive. He's got him covered though for now. Got the grass. Dropped a couple then.
Didn't lift, I like it.
To Villeneuve, which is the second chicane up before Tosa hairpin. Oh man, that's the limit right there. Both locking the inside front left at the hairpin, slowest part of the track.
Now Jake's on the limit. Jake's caught up as well, challenging Brady for 4th.
It's been pretty quick, 1:42.8 last time by half a second quicker than Brady Myers. So right on him now. Dane Warren slightly quicker than the leader last time by.
Madison Down having a pretty quiet race this time around, isn't he? Just down there in 7th place.
Well, he put it on the first lap, remember, so he's probably struggling for tyre grip now.
Yeah.
Here is Jake Burton. He's been on a move, closing in on the Fox Sports Brady Myers car. This battle pack is closing in general at the moment. Really close fight. Time by 2 to go. See if Jake Burton in the Dunlop Brad Jones car can get a nice exit out of here. Brady picked up his first podium.
He's got a good run, doesn't he?
Yeah, when Jake picked up his first win last round at the Glen, he's tucked in nice and close. Past the start finish line, 2 to go. He pulls to the outside.
Making him go the long way.
We've seen plenty of this tonight. But it's just so hard to make that one stick. Oh, Myers has a bit of a slide mid-corner. He gives him a rub. Tries to get the overlap at the exit at Tamburello. Now up to Villeneuve. And he has got something of an overlap. Can he go deep on the brakes? Man, Myers went really late.
He's got another good run.
Has to have a dive, surely, the hairpin.
Oh.
He does. Oh, the block was almost up there. That is an awesome move.
He's held around the outside.
That looks like
oh, he's into him.
Out of control, and they bang doors. Gloves are off now. And Burton gets the job done. That is one of the moves off the night. He's lost a fender in the process. And that was cool. Well, that was one of the moves off the night from the Brad Jones racing driver. He spent a few laps stalking him, had to really earn it. Seen how hard it is to pass in that first sector when people go defensive.
So Dane's dropped about half a second off the back of Josh now. Do you think he's just used the best of his tyres? Does he have anything left?
Yeah, hard to say. You can see Josh is driving really, really straight, so that's probably paying dividends. And those laps that Dane was right behind him, he was really pushing hard. So maybe it's hurting, but also the pressure from Jared. You know, he's probably looking in the mirror and being defensive now. So bloody good race. The margins are so tight, aren't they?
Yeah, they really are. It's good to see. Well, it's been really good racing in all 3 races tonight, hasn't it?
The racing at the front has been really strong. We've seen a huge step up from Dane Warren tonight. Very impressive. Now we can shake off what happened at the US and drop those 2 races and be back in this championship fight. Josh Rogers will be dropping his 12th from earlier tonight, and also a 6th from Monza, which was the reverse grid race of round 1. And that leaves him with a pretty impressive scorecard after all of those results are worked out. A bit of a mid-corner push.
Last lap, they're all using up the tyres they had left.
So when you drop Josh's worst 2 races from the start of the year, his worst result now will be a 4th.
That's pretty impressive, isn't it?
2 fourths, and the rest have all been wins, pretty much. So
consistency is what win championships, and then also recoveries. Like that first race was a shocker, but he's bounced back pretty well.
Bounced back and win 2 in a row. And had to be really aggressive at the start of this one as well, because he was starting mid-pack. Pulled himself off the canvas nicely tonight. Dying stages of round number 4. It's been a really, really interesting night. 3 big races dominated by Walkinshaw Andretti United. Dane Warren has been the best of the rest. Josh Rogers, he is something else. This 19-year-old is going to extend his championship lead, and he has won 5 out of the last 7 races. He is a real star, and he'll celebrate all the way to the checkered flag. Nice drive from Josh Rogers. Here's your winner tonight. Jared Filsell, very impressive, picking up a big bunch of points as well. And have to be said, Dane Warren doing a really nice job as well, as they can drift the night away.
Yeah, it'd be good if we could chat to Dane. I think he's been, you know, give him the Hard Charger Award tonight. He hasn't left anything on the table, has he? He's really been aggressive where he needs to.
Being the Red Bull racer, I think it'd be nice for him and SVG to be able to catch up on a Tuesday night.
Cute.
Instead of a nice big night of racing. Further down the order, great drive once again. Jake Burton, he's really firm for top 3 in this championship now. That'll be between he and probably Dane Warren now. Dane dropped back to 6th, but be able to drop his 2 worst results and come firing back up the order.
For me, it's been good to see Brady Myers just have a solid night.
Yep.
Get some good results. I think he needed that after, you know, probably losing a little bit of confidence over the last couple of rounds with some penalties and so forth. And Josh Muggleton, like you said, will be ready to hit the quit button as soon as this race is over. And
tough night for him.
Yeah, eyes forward to the UK next week.
Yeah, he just cannot have any luck heading his way at the moment. Imola, last race of the night, and it was really entertaining. Just watch the start of this race from Josh Rogers' point of view. Got a really good start off that second row and managed to go straight with the leaders and have a huge crack at trying to get to the lead at the very first corner. Committed hard on the outside of Dane Warren. Dane gave him some room. They ran side by side through there. Further back, that was a big slide for Hampstead. Bit of an off night for Hampstead. Had a good race to start the night, but since then slipped back a little bit. Running over the curbs, nice and aggressive. Rogers was able to get ahead of his main rival in the championship with Dane Warren, and then also ahead of Jared Filsell during the pit stops. A slow stop, which SVG picked up on for Jared. That brought Brady Myers into the fight. He was doing a really nice job sitting in 4th. Then this moment, wow, that car nearly went upside down.
Yeah, white wheels did him no good there, but good save, that's for sure. They were battling pretty hard all race.
These two were having at it. And then this cool battle for the essentially lead of the race. Dane Warren having a serious crack on the outside. Closed off nicely by the Mobile One Racing team.
Awesome battles between those 3 all night.
Yeah, had a good
top of their game.
This was fight of the night for me. This was awesome. How well worked did this move from Jake Burton?
Yeah, it was set up from a few corners. You could see him crossing them over at the first few, but then this was just pure aggression. And then the way they raced each other, good respect there on the exit. Little touch, but they were playing fair as well.
They were just racing hard, those two. And eventually it was the Dunlop car that managed to make that one stick.
Yeah, really happy to see Jake Burton get a good result. I don't think Brad's going to give him a Super 3 drive after...
He might do.
after today.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you never know, I suppose.
Here we go. Heidi begins.
Okay, you're going to rate this burnout, SVG, because you're the king of them.
Yeah, well, motors are free in this, so keep plucking down, son.
How bad for the motor is the burnout?
Oh, yeah, well, we get told off a lot when we sit it on there for a bit, but...
You hear it quite a bit, look after the motor, look after the motor.
Yeah, well, nowadays, and especially next year, we're only allowed 3 for the year, so we'll really have to look after them, but he's putting on a good smoke show.
Actually filling in a crossword. Is he?
Yeah, one across.
One across.
Winner.
Well deserved after his first race, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Good on him.
Well done to Josh Rogers. But it's actually Dane Warren that we want to talk to off the back of a great recovery. Let's chat with him right now. Dane, can you hear us, buddy?
Yep, all good.
Well done tonight, mate. You have managed to solidify yourself in this championship. Talk us through your night.
Yeah, well, it started off quite positive in qualifying. Managed to grab second there, just the tiniest bit off Rogers. Yeah, just plan going tonight was to keep it consistent, get some good results after I was obviously last round was a bit of a bit of a trip over for us. So happy to come away with some good results this round. Sort of secure the championship.
You did get quite close to the wall, though, in one of those, in your pit stop in race 9. Was that a bit of a hairy moment for you?
I had a bit of PTSD from Sonoma, I'm not going to lie. But, got extra points for a wall tap, so
nice.
It wasn't too bad.
You've had Shane cheering you on, mate, from the host studio tonight. You had a chance to meet Shane at Sydney Motorsport Park. What was that experience like?
Oh, it was absolutely phenomenal. You know, even being able to meet Shane, the lads at Triple Eight, and just being able to get a ride in a real V8 supercar was just a mind-blowing experience.
Yeah, solid night, mate. That first win's not far away.
Yeah, it'll come now or later. We've got a couple more races to come to, and pace is looking good, so we'll see what we can do.
Nice work.
Well done to Dane Warren on a really strong night. Perfect to have Shane at the desk for that one as well. So congratulations to Dane Warren, and that should help his championship charge. It's going to be really difficult. We'll try and update the points at the end of the night, but it'll be difficult because we won't be able to take those 2 races out yet, Briony. But what we know is Josh Rogers is looking pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's got to be the man to beat, doesn't he? But not only has he won 2 races tonight, but it's also a Walkinshaw Andretti United clean sweep.
Good pickup.
Again. So it's almost like, what can you throw at Josh that can, I guess, harm him or, damage any of his results? At the moment, he just seems, you send him from the front, he wins. You send him from the back, he manages to win. So
looking good either way.
He's on fire. It's great to see, though.
All right, to wrap up the night, let's check out our final Shannon's classic moment for the evening. Plenty of good scraps to enjoy in this fight, but for me, it was really that battle late in the race between Jake Burton and Brady Myers, and he stalked him and chased him down, and Shane van Gisbergen, eventually he was able to make this move stick.
Yeah, great move. You'll see so aggressive up here. Slides the rear a bit on entry, a bit of contact on the exit, but arms and legs going everywhere by the looks, but that's good racing.
He'll be able to afford plenty of no bun, no burger, no meat, no cheese meal deals with $500. If you think that is the best move of the night, then hop online. The voting is now open, and you can head to the website and maybe vote for that as your favourite moment. You could also win yourself $500. That wraps up the Shannon's Classic Moments for tonight. So let's check out how they all wash out off the back of a big 10-lap race at Imola. And Josh Rogers, man, he is just so good, beating home Dane Warren for the Red Bull Holden racing team. It's weird seeing a Red Bull car with a 38 next to it. So used to seeing the 88 being the Red Bull car. Jared Vilsell, another strong run for them, running the traditional 2 and 22. Jake Burton, he's going to be looking pretty good in points. In Ford, sitting mid-pack at the moment. A strange one, like Briony said, for Madison Down. Couldn't quite get that car going then to wrap up the night. And Josh Muggleton is unfortunately all out of luck in this championship. All right, we're not going to be too far here. We're going to wrap up the night and say good night to Shane van Gisbergen on the other side of this.
a motoring enthusiast? Shannons are giving you the chance to win a trip to London and the 2020 Goodwood Revival, one of the biggest historic motorsport events in the world. Plus, tour through the English countryside in a Jaguar F-Pace for 15 days, visiting historic locations and unique motoring museums, with up to $5,000 spending money for eligible Shannons Club members. Plus, win a new Indian FTR 1200S motorcycle. To enter, get a quote on your special car, spouse's car, daily drive, your bike or home. Take out a new policy for even more chances of winning. Call Shannons on 13 46 46 or go online today.
Shannons are giving you the chance to win a trip to London for the Goodwood Revival, an amazing celebration of motorsport covering the 40s, 50s and 60s. Plus, there's also the chance to win this, the incredible Indian FTR 1200S. To enter, just go to shannons.com.au and request a quote. It's been a really big night here tonight, and we finished off in style with Briony's favourite, some donuts to finish off. And also Shane's favourite, some donuts. This variety for Shane, as Josh Rogers finished off just another great night at the sim, continuing on his merry way and leading this championship. Now, we are yet to drop our 2 races, so that's why this is provisional. And for Josh Rogers, he has a pretty commanding lead, and even after he dropped his 2 races, which are a last and a 6th, he's left with a couple of 4ths as his best result. So it's looking pretty good at the moment. He's won half the races in the championship. Big movers here. Dane Warren goes back up to 3rd. Jake Burton drops to 4th. Madison Downs sitting steady in the mid-pack there. And Brenton Hobson and Josh Muggleton fighting a little bit further down the pack. So hard to say how that's all going to wash out. Predicting, I imagine, Josh Rogers will still be leading this championship. Either way, Walkinshaw and Andretti United looking seriously good for the team's championship.
Yeah, still 300 points on offer across the next 2 rounds, so all is not lost. And as we've seen not only in the Supercars main series, but also in the Gfinity Supercars Eseries, you can have a bad night, you can have a DNF and anything can happen and it can really change things around. Before I go.
Oh no, what's next?
Seeing as you have won a Bathurst, here you can have a little trophy.
A little Melbourne Cup for the night.
That's a little peace offering. And you've been
offering.
one for fashions on the field tonight.
Thank you. I thought your hat did pretty good there. So you're an unlucky runner-up to my very slack effort. Your impressions of the Gfinity Supercars Eseries, these guys, they play for keeps. There's money up for grabs.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. My mate Scotty Pye needs to go and get a setup off those blokes. They're really, really fast. But good to see Dane up there. He had a great night, nice and consistent. Racing was really good. Enjoyed it.
Best of luck at Sandown, mate.
Thanks, guys.
Looking forward to that. That'll be the next round of the Virgin Australia Supercars Championship. Next round for us, we're off to England. We only have to wait 1 week for that one. It's going to be really exciting. Silverstone, Alton Park, and also Brands Hatch, the circuit. So a couple of classics there as well. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed your Cup Day. Hope you enjoy a retro round. Hope you enjoyed Briony's hat. It's going to be a really, really fun night when we come back in another week's time. We'll see you later.